All right, everyone, settle down, everyone. Please settle down. Alex is a cat 315, has something very important to share. They've just been invited to 2 TTRPG sessions, which are hosted by your favorite TTRPG streamer. That was... Honestly, Alex, you may have noticed I was surprised whilst reading it. And that's just because I didn't know what you were going to say till you said it. Haha. Improvisation. That is fabulous news, Alex. You do not have to out who your favorite TTRPG streamer is. It's Graspy, please. He's just a ton of bricks. Honestly, Graspy, you build a home out of bricks, mortar, cement, and good memories. And despite the fact that my social media manager is all of those things, a home does not make. Now, if you read too much into that metaphor, it's confusing. So I'm going to say leave it on the surface level. It is wonderful to see everyone here. Welcome to another installment of the lecture series. The lecture is beginning, please, in the back. Oh, well, that too, Graspy. Yeah, sit. Everyone sit down, grab a seat, please. We'll be beginning the lecture shortly. Welcome to the Doctor Surgeon M.D.'s medical lecture series on medical ethics and surgical techniques. Today, dreams! Can they help us understand our subconscious? Some say yes, others say no. Freud was an idiot. These are just statements. Hey, the nerdy filmmaker's here too. Okay, perfect. We're gonna jump right in very shortly. Hang on, there's too many questions. Osab asks if I will be playing the follow-up to Dreams, Dream Daddy, and the answer, of course, is yes, because I have yet to bag myself a daddy. Requiem asks if the... Okay, oh, your bunnies are giving you a cuteness overload? Goodness gracious. Requiem lost. I find the best thing for a cuteness overload is to take the offending material and rub it all over your face. Mostly because that will add to the cuteness to the point of saturation. I'm not a chemist or anything like that. I'm a doctor and a surgeon and a part-time lover. But Requiem, my understanding is that if you oversaturate something, or if you use something to the point of saturation, it will then precipitate out, and you will lose the overabundance of cuteness. All right, AD is eating couscous petitum. I've never heard of this. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that. Tuna, mayo, and tomato sauce. I am both disgusted, confused, and intrigued. AD Sassery, welcome. Everyone, we should dive in because we have much to do today. I have received word that a non-vampire patient has come in for some therapy sessions, and I thought to myself, well, this is strange. Sam the cowboy vampire therapist only deals with vampires. What am I supposed to do? I thought this would be great training for my AssistCat. Catherine. Catherine. Oh, no, it's alright, AD. Just try to keep the smacking down, please. It's really horrible. I mean, honestly, if you're not eating whilst performing surgery, what is life anyway? Azul, this is a good dream to have. And if we were to dig into it a little bit, is that your desire for control in an ecosystem that does not allow it to be controlled? Are you dreaming of something impossible? A sheep that is made of robot parts and the desire for conformity. Is that what you are dreaming of? Or are you dreaming of a book? I drink a lot of goddamn tea, 80 Sassery. I don't know what to tell. Eat your damn patate. I don't know what you said. I don't know what you said before. God damn it. I have a big mug because I like tea, damn it. It's a character choice. Osab, I am, in fact, I have been litigated against many times. I am the litigator. Right, at any... Oh, yes, of course. Rock on to electric sheep anew. Alright, so, sheep and you! Okay, sorry, everyone. We're doing something very important today. We're going to be having a session where I am going to be training my AssistCat, Catherine, to interpret dreams in such a way as to help someone dig into the root problem of their causes. It does, doesn't it? Alex, it does, and yet it does not. That is what we will be doing today. Off the record, everyone should know this is the reason that you may notice below you on the stream here you may notice that there is no title, and that is because this session is in beta, as in it does not exist on the market yet. However, your feedback is important, interns. There will be a quiz or an exam. I'm still not sure how this university lecturer thing works. Just, my point is this. If you have thoughts about... Oh, I thought it was just the sewer. Oh, well, there you go, Sab. Yeah, then yes, Litigant Supreme. Like that band. Yeah, Graspy Loot. Yes, this is the beta. Yes, yeah, oh yes. It's a clinical trial. Yeah, exactly, Sam. If you wish to provide feedback on what you see today, not me and my beautiful face, obviously. No feedback needed, no feedback to be given. Thank you very much. 10 out of 10. No notes. But take notes. I'll be taking notes as well. I have a notebook right here. If you have thoughts, please, either message me or put them in the Discord. Too big. Mug too big. Good streamer, hated mug. Oh, I meant his face. No, the mug was fine. So, anyway, put them in the Discord under the Biff the Bows channel. That's my social media manager's names. Yes. Well, literally, Alex, yes, I understand. And I also hated those professors, which is why I promise you an exam every goddamn week. Oh, shoot. Yes, Alzul, you will be graded, but I grade on a curve that is more of a cliff. So, basically, anyone who is on one side of the drop-off will be brought up to the drop-off. At any rate, we should get to it. I think that's all I have to say. Just be advised, this is new. It's in beta, and therefore there may be some quirks and quarks, as it were. But if you have thoughts, please drop them in the Discord or in the chat. I will be also giving mine as we attempt to discover this woman's strange secrets. Ooh, I don't know what it means. It could mean anything. Let's get into it. There we go. Turn that right up, because I presume it's going to be quite quiet. Now... Interns, good lord, Santa Claus. No, stop that. Okay, we need to start this again. You can all see this, and you can all hear this, and hopefully you'll be able to hear it well. I cannot turn... Oh, I actually can turn it up slightly more, so hopefully that's enough for you. Ruh-roh is correct. This will erase all save data. Yes, erase me, you son of a gun. Let's do this. All right, so why don't we start off this therapy session nice and easy. You can just, you can tell AssistCat, Catherine here, your name and, Graspy Loot. You're not going to believe this, but I can't. They don't exist yet. The menu option exists, but the subtitles do not, is my understanding. So just, listen up, everybody. I'm certainly going to be listening. Anyway, just let my AssistCat, Catherine, know, your name and, generally speaking, what you're doing here and what sort of things you like in life.
Thank you for seeing me.
Oh, you're welcome.
I've been having the same bad dream every night for the past
too, sister.
8 months. And 8 months. It's exhausting.
Good lord.
I can't sleep. I can't focus. And it's starting to feel like I'm losing my mind.
Lack of tea.
I drove here from out of state because I heard you're the best there is at dealing with dreams and nightmares.
Thank you.
I'm really hoping you can help me make it stop.
I wouldn't say the best, but certainly not the worst.
Can you describe the dream for me?
Oh, sorry, yes.
The first
Catherine
thing I
wants to describe the
remember,
dream.
I'm back in the house I grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
It's late on Christmas Eve,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm spying on Santa Claus as
creepy.
he's getting ready to leave us toys. My dad used to dress up as Santa Claus every year and put all of our presents under the tree.
How cute that is.
And my little brother and I would sneak out of our rooms and spy on him.
On your father. Got it.
I was always afraid that we'd get caught.
By your father.
But this time it was different. It isn't my dad. It's the real Santa Claus.
Well, you're spying on the real
So
Santa.
I'm way more scared than normal.
Did you leave? So
and
because
for
he's
some
Krampus.
reason I'm
It's a monster, essentially.
watching him through this kind of
Did you give him
glass or screen, so I feel a little bit safer.
a screen? Are you
I know
behind a
that
computer?
sounds silly, but
No.
it's a dream.
It's a
so,
dream, yeah.
None of it makes sense.
I said that.
So I'm hiding there, watching Santa do his thing when I just feel this chill
Do
come
his
over
thing?
me.
What's he doing?
And suddenly I hear a bear rustling in the bushes.
There's a bear in the bushes.
I don't know why there's bushes inside my house, but again, it's a dream.
Okay.
And this startles me.
Santa through a screen.
And Santa hears it too and starts looking around for it, like frantically. It scares him.
That's wild, AD.
Even more than it does me.
There's a bear rustling and it scares your...
Then the worst part happens.
Sorry, Santa. The worst part.
Santa and I spot the bear at the exact same time.
Oh, shit. Bears.
And I get...
They'll mess you up.
Completely overwhelmed with terror.
Of course.
Seeing this bear...
What kind of bear?
Scares me more than anything ever has or should. And I wake up so agitated, and my heart is racing.
Right.
And then I can't get back to sleep, and I don't know why I'm having this dream, but it's always the same dream.
Seems pretty straightforward to me.
I just want it to stop.
You want capitalism, you want the communism to destroy...
Let's start connecting some of the dots with what you've told me.
Gift giver, Santa Claus.
I'll explain how this works.
Very good.
I've made a list of all the topics you've mentioned in your dream.
My AssistCat, Catherine.
For example, you mentioned both fear and your father.
Right.
If I ask about these together, I want you to tell me whatever comes to mind first. It could be a time where you were afraid of your father, or maybe a fear he had that you remember, or even somebody you know who was very afraid of your father.
Right, so combining two or more elements from the dream. The key
is to speak freely about whatever you feel has the strongest connection in your mind. If other significant topics come up while we're talking, I'll add them to our list. This approach will help us peel back the layers of your dream. By exploring these connections, we aim to uncover what your subconscious might be trying to communicate. Through this technique, we'll gradually get to the root of these nightmares. Eventually, that will lead us to insights we need so you can start sleeping peacefully again.
Well, that's very nice, Catherine, AssistCat Catherine. So I want to point out two important things here that you may not have noticed just because of the drama unfolding here in the therapy session room. First and foremost, you'll notice I've trained my AssistCat Catherine to speak in a very soothing, pleasant tone of voice. I would say this is primo. When we talk about bedside manner, what we are talking about is not how you conduct yourself at the bedside of the patient. We are talking about how the patient feels. Yes, you may have to amputate their leg, but what would you rather hear? We're going to have to amputate your leg now, sir. Here, or something more akin to this. I'm sorry, Mr. Bob, but unfortunately, your leg is not going to be able to survive for another couple of days. You know, it doesn't matter. It's the tone of voice rather than the words themselves. I'm just saying AssistCat Catherine's really nailed that part of therapy already. Just out of the park. Get it over with. Get you over with. That's the first. That's the exact. Oh, wait. You would prefer the first? Oh, graspy loot. Haven't spent too much time in my hospital then, I suppose. The second thing I want to point out is that we have created an absolutely gorgeous space in which to be therapized. Have we not? A comfortable couch and books everywhere. If you want to look like an intellectual, just make sure you have books behind you. It doesn't matter what they are. Almanacs, dictionaries, children's books, just folders full of old baseball cards. It doesn't matter what they are. They could, honestly, they could even be just book sleeves with wine in them. I don't really care. As long as no one's going to touch them and find out you just have a bookshelf full of wine. The point is, you look intelligent. Now, you'll understand, of course, interns, that what we're doing here is we're trying to peel back the layers of her nightmare to try to find out what she is truly afraid of. You understand? My favorite kind of bookshelf. A wine shelf. My favorite kind of cellar? A bookseller. I mean, a wine cellar. It's with wine. What we're going to be doing, essentially, is peeling apart her dream piece by piece. We're going to be combining different aspects of what she's discussed, and then we're going to hear what comes to mind for her. Let's recap. She's watching Santa Claus through some sort of screen or something so she feels safe. Her father used to be Santa Claus, and she used to spy on them with her brother. Then there's a bear rustling in the bushes, and then the bear Santa Claus and her see the bear at the same time, and she's terrified. What could it mean? I mean, I think it probably means that her father was secretly homosexual and loved bears. That's just my theory, and that she was afraid to learn this. That's just a theory. Let's see if we can peel something back. I think we probably want to know right away. I think the Santa Claus thing's a bit of a red herring. The bear probably represents a threat or a fear. Is there a real bear in her past? Was her brother eaten by one? I doubt it. I think we probably want to know about her childhood. Exactly, Aragwen, exactly. Childhood. The time in your life when everybody grows a new foot. You know, you lose your baby teeth, you grow your real teeth, you lose your baby foot, you grow a real foot. I think we want to hear about... Jesus, that's loud. I want to hear about childhood fears.
Looking back, I had a few childhood fears that really stuck out to me.
Bears?
One big one was the classic, being afraid of the dark.
Oh, yep, classic.
I'd lie in bed staring at shadows,
Santa
convinced
Claus.
that they were monsters lurking,
Yep.
you know, just out of sight.
He only operates in the dark.
And so my dad, he got me a nightlight shaped like a little spaceship.
Oh.
It helped a bit, but...
That's nice.
You know, I'd still pull the covers over my head, thinking this was some kind of magical shield.
Classic. Yeah.
And one of my other weird ones was
work,
quicksand.
Oh.
And I blame cartoons and older TV shows for that. They made it seem like surviving quicksand was this essential life skill that everyone needed. Like,
damn, you're right, Graspy.
You could just stumble into a pit of it any day. And I was genuinely worried that I would run into quicksand on the playground or something.
I just don't think you're going to run into quicksand all that often, madam. I really don't think so. All right. So fears included the dark and quicksand. Not pretty. You know exactly, Aragwen. Oh my god, I'm going to be going somewhere away from my home. I hope there won't be any quicksand. Graspy-Loot's correct, of course. We have to accuse someone. I think when you say that the bear is frightening, what you're really saying is you're labeling the bear. All right. So, okay. Not much there, I don't think. I think we want to dig into her relationship with her father, right? It's important to me that the Santa Claus, of course, represents her father in this dream, certainly. I feel like it must be that. You know, the man who comes and goes at special times, holidays, brings gifts, bit of a mysterious figure, loves cookies. And I think I want to know if he gave you any toys. Or if it wasn't.
My dad definitely had some toys of his own. He was
what do you mean?
A big fan of TV and movies. He was especially obsessed with the original Star Trek series.
Oh, hell yeah.
He owned several props from the show, including Leonard Nimoy's tricorder and Walter Koenig's phaser.
What, the originals?
Those props were like sacred artifacts in our home.
What? Where did he get them?
He always said we couldn't touch them because, you know, they were collector's items.
Well, of course not. They're expensive as hell.
I knew they were just Dad's really expensive toys.
Sup, Captain Splooey. Welcome. I'll re-explain in a moment.
Younger brother, Tommy, he'd always try to talk me into letting him play with them whenever, you know, I was left alone with him.
Yes.
And I was in charge. So I started telling him
younger brother
it was too dangerous because they were real and they actually worked. He was only 5, so he believed me.
Right.
It's funny,
Did you phase
always
your
kind of resented it when, you know, my parents told me that type of lie, but as soon as I was left in charge, I did the same thing to him.
Just the mental well-being of a woman, Captain Splooey. Not too busy. Hit me up. Sorry, not a woman, just like a person, I suppose. No, I'm not too busy. Hit me up, Captain Splooey. And I'll just reintroduce for everybody what's going on here, which is that we are trying to dig into the root cause of what this woman's dream might mean for her. It's a recurring nightmare. 8 months, she was saying. Graspy is, of course, correct. The father is, he is having... Woo! With those kinds of hobbies, I imagine... It's interesting, she hasn't really mentioned her mother, has she? It's interesting, isn't it? Do we think TV and movies is going to be a bit of a red herring? That's my question. At any rate, Captain Bluey, feel free, hit me up, HMU as it were. Her Majesty's Universal Medicare Service. So when the itching gets to be too much, do you recommend any specific kind of ointment to relieve the irritation? Yes, actually I do, Captain Bluey. Thank you for asking. The King's Own Vaseline is a specific brand. Vaseline, of course, being a brand name, which was, of course, then re-co-opted by His Majesty the King, Charles III. So His Majesty's Royal Vaseline. Yeah. Exactly, Aragorn. So I recommend a good, thick coating of His Majesty's Vaseline. Which, of course, he would probably pronounce Vaseline. Probably, something like that. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Sorry, sorry, just a moment, everyone. Sorry, this is going to be on the recording. I'm sorry for everyone for this. And madam, just the therapy session is still... The clock's running, but this is important, all right? Why are you telling Captain Spluey about your down there problems? No, your downstairs problems. Not the basement, you absolute nitwit. Good lord, what an idiot. I said you are an idiot. Unbelievable. At any rate, perhaps we should ask her about her favorite brand of Vaseline. I feel like that reveals a lot about a person. If they say Vaseline, then a person. If they say His Majesty's Vaseline, then they're British. Oh, God. It's disgusting. At any rate, we should probably... Yeah, Graspy-Loot's right. We could just kind of shoot the breeze, as it were. All right, carry on. So we're going to peel back her... I feel like the bear and Santa Claus are just more metaphor than anything, but I do want to know why her father always dressed up as Santa Claus. That's what I want to know. Tell me about your father and Santa Claus.
So picture this. Me, as a little kid, peeking around the corner on Christmas Eve,
and father.
Watching my dad dress up as Santa.
Next one.
He's got the whole thing, the red suit, white beard, the works. And he's putting out presents, acting like he has no idea that I'm spying on him. I'm just there trying to stifle giggles and totally buying into the magic of it all.
Serious, Graspy-Loot.
Looking back, I gotta wonder, why do parents go through such great lengths to deceive their kids?
This is probably very serious.
I mean, it's kind of wild, right? The whole charade.
Yeah.
Just to make us believe in this mythical guy who breaks into houses and leaves gifts.
Magically breaks
into houses. It's like, what's the end game
down
here?
The chimney.
To preserve some fleeting sense of wonder? Or maybe it's about them wanting to, relive a bit of their own childhood magic through us?
Maybe.
Either way, I feel like it's a lot of effort for a fantasy that eventually crumbles when you find your dad's Santa suit stashed in the closet next to the vacuum cleaner.
Rough. Why do you think he was doing it for himself? Luke, hello! Welcome to the Doctor Surgeon M.D.'s medical lecture series on medical ethics and surgical techniques. Today, therapy. Can it help us uncover... Dreams, rather. Can it help us uncover our darkest secrets? Honestly, it's a good question. I really thought we'd open something up here. I need to know what this... Okay, so Oh, hello, Flower, as well. Welcome to the Doctor Surgeon M.D.'s medical lecture series on medical ethics. My name is the Doctor Surgeon M.D. Today, we are helping a young woman with a recurring nightmare. The nightmare is this. Santa Claus. Her father often dressed up as Santa Claus, but this is Santa Claus. He's in her home. She's spying on him. Then, a rustle in the bushes. Holy shit, it's a bear. She's terrified. What is this? Get out. AssistCat. It's fine. Stop labeling yourself. You're labeling your father. It's more of a training session, Luke. And, of course, to be fair, we're all interns here. Except me. And they signed the waiver, yes. Flower is correct. Excuse me. For God's sake. AssistCat. This is going on the record, too. AssistCat, get down from there. Come on, stop that. Yes, get out. Good lord. Right. So, all right. Aragorn's right. Let's look up the father and the bear. The man and the bear. Who would you choose? I just need to know where this bear thing is coming from. I assumed it was a metaphor.
This one's a classic. So,
is it?
We were all out in our yard one summer evening.
Sorry, what?
Having a barbecue.
Yes.
It was one of those perfect nights. It was warm, clear sky. Everyone was laughing and having a good time. And
your brother, and your parents.
Suddenly, my dad's face goes completely pale, and he shouts, "Everyone inside now!"
Subscriber. Thank you.
Whoa, that was great. Thank you, Graspy I really appreciate it. I was just taken by surprise that the father's face went pale and he said, "Subscriber, subscriber." That's what he was shouting, presumably. Well, sorry, it's much louder, yes, because I've turned up. I've made sure that we can all hear what's happening in the game. Good question, Flower of August. This is my therapy room, and those are my real books. A whole generation of dads singing subscriber loudly to their children. Happy birthday, Addison. Beautiful subscriber, you. All right. I want to know what she's on about. Flower, keep looking into it, but this is definitely...
Scrambling for the door, and my dad's hurting us like frantic sheepdog, and he was yelling something about a bear in the yard.
Oh, God.
And the adrenaline kicked in, and we rushed into the house,
There's a bear
locking the door.
Yes.
My heart was pounding.
Yes.
And we were sitting there thinking, okay, we just nearly escaped a bear attack.
Baby in the chat room.
It turns out what he thought was a bear was actually a big dog. Just wandering around, looking for snacks.
Yeah.
The tension broke, and
Sure.
we all just burst out laughing.
Very funny.
My dad, he tried to play it off, saying,
we almost died. It was hilarious.
It was better to be safe than sorry, but we didn't let him off the hook that easy.
Mm-mm.
Oh, gosh, we busted him for that for weeks.
Obviously huge Graspy Loot. Okay, so we need to keep unlocking things here, people, because this is not going very well. I want to know if you have any memory. Did we already do Fear and Father? I can't remember. Were you afraid of your toys? Let's just do it. I have to do this. This is important. Were you afraid of your father?
I was never really afraid of my dad.
Oh.
He wasn't one of those stereotypical scary dads you see in movies or hear about from friends.
Movies.
He was more like this big, comforting presence.
Labeling.
Always there with a joke or a hug when you needed it. But there was this one time.
Yes.
I was really scared for him. I was very young.
What did he do?
He had to go out of state on a business trip. And it was the first time he'd ever been away for, I don't know, more than a day. And I remember feeling this huge fear, like, what if something happened to him?
Well, you were afraid for yourself, not for him.
I don't fully understand what a business trip entailed, because I was so young.
He was going to war.
So it was like he was venturing into the unknown.
Where there's quicksand.
Plus, he had to get on a plane.
Ah, yeah. Oh.
And movies always made it seem way more dangerous than it really is. And
I'm starting to think.
Come to think about it,
Oh, hang on.
I did have nightmares about him for a few of those days while he was gone.
Interesting.
That's the only other time in my life I remember having recurring nightmares. They weren't anything like the ones I'm having right now, though.
I like this theory, AD.
There's probably no connection. I wasn't waking up in terror or anything.
I mean, everything's connected.
Just normal nightmares.
Madam. Also, can I call you Genevieve? What's your name? I'm calling you Genevieve, all right? That's just what we're doing. Yeah, I agree, Osab. And so, okay, AD's theory is fabulous. So her father is dead, you're thinking, and then she feels like her current life is losing its whimsy and childlike wonder. I find it very intriguing. We haven't heard anything about her current situation. She had a younger brother, but we haven't heard anything about him. Her father, her mother. Do you live with anyone? Do you have pets? What does that sound? AssistCats? They're probably fine. But yeah, it would appear that movies are certainly at the root. When was she forced to watch movies for hours at a time in her life? Tell me about your fear of movies.
It's funny because I wasn't ever really scared of horror movies.
The pillow is very funny.
But there was one thing that did scare me. An episode of The Muppet Show.
What? They're amazing.
They did this bit where Dr. Honeydew and Beaker built a machine that you could use to transform a cat into a dog by placing it on a conveyor belt.
This is The Fly.
Sending it through.
This is the plot of the movie The Fly.
As if that wasn't horrifying enough on its own, a cat got stuck in the machine.
Oh.
And, Dr. Honeydew reached in to push it through, and when he pulled his arm out, his forearm had turned into a live dog that started attacking him.
Good Lord.
Meanwhile, a giant tiger attacked Beaker. I mean, they played it for laughs, but dear God, that was like a horrifying scenario. I have no idea what they were thinking when they wrote that. I think it was meant to be funny, but it was honestly nightmare fuel for me. I mean, it didn't actually give me nightmares, but
I don't know, Captain Splue. It sounds like the kind of thing the Muppet.
But that episode did leave a lasting impression on me.
I bet it did. I mean, Graspier's correct. That would Occam's razor states the most logical solution is often the correct one. I think that's Occam's razor, and if it's not, then I'm calling it the Doctor's razor. Cuttitha, sorry. The most logical scenario is that her father is Inspector Jenks, who, can't do anything without making an idiot of himself and putting himself in mortal danger, so obviously him getting on a plane and going on a business trip would be disastrous. I want to dig into this. You're afraid... So you are afraid that Muppet thing is coming to you because of the change... It's something about the animals, right? We're going with animals, right? Tell me about... Oh, a toy bear. I want to dig into the animal side of things. So I think I'm going to go bear and childhood. Just tell me more.
I have a pretty vivid memory related to bears from when I was a kid.
Oh, do you?
My school was right near some woods, so
AD.
Every once in a while, they'd make an announcement over the PA system that recess would be indoors because a bear had been spotted nearby.
Sorry, what?
And most of the other kids hated it when that happened. They'd, groan and complain about not getting to
Hands
play
up in the chat.
outside,
Did anyone have bear recess
Honestly,
pencils?
I kind of liked it. It was usually too cold, and I don't know. Indoor recess meant we could play games and read, which I preferred anyway.
She likes books. Books! Okay, school. Correct. Apparently, AD. Apparently so. Okay. New topic. School. I would unlock... topic unlocked childhood games and reading. This is good. I think we're getting somewhere now. I'm intrigued. I'm also very intrigued by how this is all going to go together. Presumably there's like a huge variety of things I can... Anyway. Intriguing. Yeah, AD, how am I going to figure out why she's not... It reminds me of that other... I think it was Tornado McCall was here. Talking about... was the Vegas Tales, and then... it wasn't called Truth. Was it called Truth? The other one. And there's that one woman in Vegas Tales who just... Everything always went wrong for her. Too bad, Oh, man, I was on this ship and it crashed and we ended up on an iceberg. You're like, that's ridiculous, but apparently it's true. Vegas Tales. Right. Tell me about... You know what? Childhood and school. This feels like a good broad category.
School back in Scranton was never really my thing.
Scranton, Pennsylvania.
I mean, I was a good student, but school itself was just, school. Does anyone actually like going to school when they're a kid?
Yes, I loved it. Shot put.
4th grade
Medicine.
Was especially bad.
Why?
I got put into Mr. Grimm's class.
Mr. Grimm?
He was a complete nightmare. He was like, I'd say 30-something with this long beard and a massive chip on his shoulder.
What do you want?
It seemed like he really hated children. And everyone in class was wondering, why did he even become a teacher in the first place?
Literally, with a name like Mr. Grimm. Why can't we have a topic, Mr. Grimm? God damn, sorry everyone. Look, new character alert, Mr. Grimm, the bearded teacher who hates children. Alright, okay. So, Flower, I will say, I don't believe each topic is a valid combination, each 2 topics. But that's interesting because I wonder how it will tell you if it's not. I agree, that's actually wild. Okay, so childhood and school. I should be keeping track here. Hang on. It's not going to be worth it. We're unlocking more categories. This is good. Okay, what are the mysteries so far? We're trying to peel back the layers of her dream. What does the bear represent? Why Santa Claus? Yeah, see, Jason... hi, Jason Price. Welcome to the Doctor Surgeon M.D.'s medical lecture series on medical ethics and surgical techniques. That is, I believe, the correct number. I mean, I think you would probably know, but, you know, who knows? This is good. That's a lot. That's a lot, though, isn't it? There are... yes, I think you did. 24. Am I doing that math correctly? Yeah, so 24 by, I guess, 23 or something. Is that? Hang on, that's still far too many. It doesn't matter. I want to dig more into... So she grew up in Scranton? She went to school in Scranton, Pennsylvania. This is interesting. What is going on? Oh, actually, hang on. I do actually need to go and deal with these cats. Sorry, everyone. We'll be right back in just a moment. See you when it's... Oh, I'll leave you some music. All right. Settle down, everyone. Cut the music, please. Thank you very much. It's on the fritz. Araguen, you're not wrong. Good lord. This is going to sound filthy, but I'm sorry. I just got an AssistCat in the face, and knowing that my AssistCat is named Catherine, that sounds filthy. But just trust me when I say it was not a pleasant experience. All right, we should get back to it. Okay. As always, of course, interns, please feel free to jump in here. We're looking to peel back the layers of mystery here, and find out if what we're missing exactly. I think, okay, we've learned a bit more about, she grew up watching television and film quite a bit. Her father liked Star Trek. Santa Claus probably represents her father in some way, but maybe the mystery... good idea! Good idea! Good idea, Flower. Let's see. Right, Miracle on 34th Street.
TV and movies and Santa, the first thing that comes to mind are those holiday classic movies like...
Miracle.
Frosty the Snowman.
Sure.
And Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
That one's creepy, but I like it.
Watching them was a holiday tradition in our house.
Sure.
There's something so nostalgic about those old stop-motion animations.
Yeah.
But I've always had, mixed feelings about the Frosty the Snowman.
Why?
It's a classic, and
yes.
I loved watching it as a kid,
but he came to life!
That magic hat.
Yeah!
It always freaked me out a bit.
Yes, exactly!
I couldn't help but wonder, what would happen if they put it on something else?
Exactly, like a monster.
A
mannequin, sure, exactly. It would come to life.
Would it come to life too?
This is interesting.
And what if they made a dog out of snow instead of a snowman?
Ha-ha!
Would we have a snow dog running around? I tend to think of weird things like that.
Okay, there's twice now where she's been traumatized by... Oh, thank you. Oh, my God, Nerdy, thank you so much. I'm turning it back up. Yes. Sorry, Nerdy, thank you. I had to turn it down for the music. Yes. Okay. This is twice now that she's mentioned that she's afraid. 3. It's true, actually, Araguen, even better. Why? Let's get some dog topics in here. She's afraid of dogs, or afraid of maybe losing her dog. This is good. This is very good. I think. Yeah, oh, jeez, you're not wrong, Flower. Plus, falling through the Professor Honeydew machine there. All right, well, did we do fear and toys? Oh, it blacks them out, actually. That's very
There
good.
was definitely some toys that freaked me out as a kid.
Yeah. Yes.
One that stands out is this old-fashioned porcelain doll that my grandmother gave me.
Just a human
It
being
had those
reaction, honestly.
Glassy eyes that seemed to follow you
Creepy
around
doll.
the room.
Absolutely
and
the
it
worst.
was like
agreed.
this eerie, almost lifelike face.
Just throw that shit right in the landfill. Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, I couldn't stand to have it in my room at night.
Straight out. Break its face.
I was convinced it would, come to life.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was also this toy robot that my dad got me once.
A toy robot.
It made these loud mechanical noises, and it had flashing red eyes.
Oh.
That was supposed to be cool and futuristic, but to me it was just plain scary.
I mean, in the dark especially, certainly. Okay, interesting. I think we're barking up the wrong tree now. Pun very much intended. All right, Erigwen. Everyone's very intrigued by Santa Claus in things. So let's do it.
My parents used to drag me off to see Santa at our annual parades when I was little.
Welcome to
I'd be there all bundled up in about 50 layers, standing on the freezing streets of Scranton, which, Santa would just ride in on a fire truck. Yeah,
what?
Santa on a fire truck, because
nothing
screams Christmas magic like emergency vehicles. I'll be honest, I never really liked parades. They were always way too cold, and, I couldn't even feel half my toes all the time. But my parents thought it was this great holiday tradition, so there we were, year after year.
I don't think she likes
we'd get
Christmas
there early
very much.
to stake out a good spot, and then we'd wait. And wait. And wait. And by the time Santa finally made his way into its grand entrance, I was usually too numb to care. And he'd wave from the top of the fire truck,
Now
all
that's a metaphor.
jolly and festive,
I was
and
too
everyone
numb to
would
care
cheer.
about Santa by the time
Meanwhile,
I
I
was 12.
just was thinking about how, I couldn't wait to just, get back in the car and blast that heater.
Interesting. Right. Something about the outdoors, right? The cold and the outdoors. I'm going really dark here, but did she lose her dog to the cold? Did she lose her family to the cold? Why hasn't she mentioned a single thing about her present? This is intriguing to me. All right. Okay. What else are we doing here? I'm not gonna necessarily keep asking people, interns in the chat. I'm going to pick some as well. But just out of curiosity, if I click on this, aha! See, we get to see which ones we've already done. Antegrade amnesia. Oh, good question, Zen. This is indeed live. My AssistCat, Catherine, is asking basically combinations of words. So unlike something like yes. Unlike something like her story, we are not reviewing archival footage. We are asking her, tell me the first thing that comes to your mind when I say bear and fear. I'm scared of bears.
Yeah, I'm kind of afraid of bears. I mean,
well, sure.
Who wouldn't be?
Yeah,
these
terrifying.
Things are massive, powerful creatures that could swipe you away with just one paw.
Brown are quite cute.
I remember seeing a bear up close once at a zoo, and
Winnie the Pooh
even behind the glass, it was intimidating.
The glass!
It's the unpredictability that gets me. You hear all these stories about people encountering bears in the wild, and it's always the mix of awe and sheer terror. Like you're supposed to play dead or make yourself look big, which
100%.
neither of those sound like a solid survival plan to me.
Sign the waiver.
So yeah, I'm a little wary of bears, but no more than anyone else.
Yeah, I suppose not. Maybe we're going down the wrong track here with the bears thing. I want to know about your childhood in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Tell me more about
when I think of Scranton and my childhood, one of the first things that comes to mind is death.
Excuse me?
My mother died when I was very young.
Oh, wow.
And that left a huge hole in our lives.
Well, yeah.
Then a few years later, my little brother passed away too.
Oh my God.
Losing both of them so early on was incredibly hard.
Wow.
And it, cast a long shadow over
like, I'm
my
not saying
childhood.
lead with that, madam, but I am
After
saying...
that, I
don't
always had this fear in the back of my mind that I'd lose my father.
Absolutely horrible.
You know, at any point.
Yeah, of course.
It was like I was living with this constant anxiety that, you know, the other shoe could drop at any moment.
Of course.
My dad is still with us today, thankfully.
Good.
So
good to specify. Hello, Sarah.
Yeah, I don't have the best memories of that place.
Welcome to the lecture. No, of course you don't. Good Lord. Well, I didn't know that. It does add up, and I'm wondering if we need to pursue this, because it feels like the Santa Claus and the bear then become sort of maybe warring aspects of her father? Maybe? So your father raised you then?
When I think back to my childhood, my dad he was always a great dad. He was also, you know, pretty nerdy, which made growing up
Star Trek, yeah.
with him, a lot of fun. He was very unique. Always had the latest game consoles and gadgets in the house. And
very cool.
He loved technology and was always excited to share it with us.
Right.
He wasn't the type of dad that, you know, could fix cars or take me fishing.
That's fine.
In fact, I remember one time when we had a flat tire. And the two of us spent
sounds like you would have been
an
attacked by a
hour
bear if you had gone
trying to
fishing.
figure out how to change it before giving up and calling, you know, roadside assistance. But yeah, that's fine. Being able to change a tire isn't what makes someone a good dad.
Sorry, everyone. I have to explain what's going on right now because, of course, this is, you know, going on the VOD here. So I'm looking out my window here at the lecture hall while Catherine, the AssistCat, continues to interview, and I see a man standing by my car. He's taking photos of the hood of the vehicle because on it he has laid a package that he has delivered. Not his package, just a package. He's delivered it. Oh, hello, AssistCat. And then he took some photos of it, and now he's gone. So I just look out my window and I see a man doing this. Absolutely terrifying. You might say that he and I were... No, that my AssistCat was Santa Claus. I was the woman, Genevieve? We'll call her Genevieve. And he was the bear. Okay, Erigwen's theory. Committed matricide and fratricide. And she's having nightmares about Santa because he knows if she's been bad or good. Oh, God. Exactly, nerdy. Good Lord, that was frightening. I was like, oh, I really hope there's no one out there in the dark. Oh, shit, there is. Okay. Good Lord. All right, sorry. I'm just going to stop panicking. This isn't a horror therapy session. Good Lord. Okay. I like the theory, Erigwen. She claims that her mother and brother passed away when she was very young, but that her father is still alive. That's what she claims. Let's dig into it. I want to know... There's got to be something about this. I want to know more about... The Santa Claus thing is not... I don't know. Where do we go from here? School feels like a bit of a dead end. I feel like she was probably essential, like, with her father. She
when I think
a
of
lot of time with television
TV and my childhood, I mainly remember watching cartoons.
Sure.
My favorites were probably Transformers, Visionaries, Dungeons and Dragons, and Voltron.
Nice.
The annoying thing was I couldn't really talk about it to my friends at school because...
Why not?
Back then, there was this ridiculous stigma that girls had to watch, you know, girl cartoons like My Little Pony and Gem, and boys had to watch boy cartoons. It's the same archaic mindset that, you know, made boys feel like they couldn't own anything pink.
Right.
I mean, things have improved a lot since back then, but back in those days, I'd just sit there quietly listening to the boys talk about my favorite shows, wishing, you know, that I could join the conversation.
She felt left out. That's sad. Well, that's quite sad, actually. Okay, so she felt left out, which, you know, you lose members of your family. Like, I can imagine that feeling. Yeah, okay. I want you to tell me fears that you experienced at school.
When I think of school and fear, the first things that come to mind are, you know, the normal school anxieties.
Presentation from class.
Like worrying about your appearance to impress a bunch of people you don't even like anyway.
Yeah. Oof.
And it's funny how much time and energy went into stressing over, clothes, hair, and fitting in. There was this constant pressure to look a certain way, to be accepted by peers who, in the grand scheme of things.
Thank you very much, freaks! Hello again. Welcome to the Doctor Surgeon M.D.'s medical lecture series on medical ethics and surgical techniques. Congratulations, spasiba, on receiving a guitar-playing bear. The irony of this is not lost on me, freaks. Not lost on me. Just a quick introduction, just because we are throwing you right in. You are late to the lecture, freaks, but that's all right. Just go and sit at the back of the class or at the front, whatever you want. I order books by the meter. Good Lord, Flower! I don't really care what kind of books they are, just books by the meter, damn it. I want some leather-bound books for my study. Right. Freaks, we are interviewing a young woman who's having a recurring nightmare. We're trying to dig into it and peel it apart and really figure out what's going on. We've learned a lot about her history so far, but there's a lot... No, it's... Understood, freaks. Understood. Doctor Surgeon M.D. That's another one. That was a weird one. Oh, yeah, 2 for the price of 1. Sorry.
Didn't matter much as we thought they did.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah, no, I agree. We need more topics. We need to unlock more topics. What is this about? What is her nightmare about? I like it. I'm very intrigued. Oh, good, Graspy. Okay, perfect. I'm glad you didn't miss a thing. Nosferatu syndrome? That's what you think is going on? What, that she's going to slip into a coma and that they bury her and that she comes back to life and wakes up to find that she's been buried alive? Is that what that is? I assume that's what that is. Great question, Erigwen. You son of a gun, Erigwen! Just Santa Claus! I've done all the fear.
There was definitely a time that I was afraid of Santa Claus, but not in the usual sense. It was more about getting caught spying on my dad when he was pretending to be Santa Claus on Christmas Eve.
All right. Is the lighting
I remember
terrible?
being so, excited but terrified that he'd catch me peeking around the corner.
Excited but
because I was supposed to be in bed asleep, and there I was trying to be quiet as a mouse. Heart was pounding as my dad laid out the presents under the tree in his Santa Claus costume.
Very sweet, to be honest.
The fear wasn't about Santa himself, but about getting busted.
Yeah.
I guess it's funny now, because he wouldn't have been doing the whole dress up and the whole act if he didn't know I was watching. But I was too young and dumb to realize that.
Oh, hi, Craigard. Welcome. Yeah, so Flower, that's what's intriguing here, is that he would, apparently, according to Genevieve, I'm going to call her Genevieve. Yeah. She would sneak out to look at Santa Claus with her younger brother. Ooh, Santa's here, he's delivering presents. And it's just him, he's dressed up. I feel like, look, my memories of Christmas are very different, obviously. We would do the traditional shot put of the pudding, the shot pudding, naturally. And then, by that time, it was time for tea and time for bed. And I would be so antsy, and I'd think to myself, one day I'm going to be a doctor surgeon, just like my father. And then I would get up in the middle of the night, and I'd creep down the stairs, and I would look to see if Santa Claus had brought me any presents. And no, it was just my mother and father canoodling on the couch. And they looked at me, and they said, boy, go back to bed. It's Mummy and Daddy time. Sorry. Yeah, shot pudding. No, we don't take shots of pudding, Seren Zero. Good Lord, Seren Zero. What kind of monster do you take me for? It's Father Christmas time. Blah, 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 blah. Horrible. All right. Great question, Graspy Loot. I always assumed therapy was a two-way street. Genevieve, thoughts? No, we just... What part of this are you not understanding? The national sport of Britain, shot put... The thing that I was an Olympian in, shot put, you take the pudding balls and you shot put them across the yard. What are you not understanding about this? Good Lord. We're waiting for Santa to join. Oh, Sam! Your mother's feeling a little... We are never getting through this. Let me tell you that for free. All right, let's do something crazy. School and... Oh, me too, freaks.
When I think about movies in school, the first thing that comes to mind is how much I loved it when the teacher would show up, too tired to teach.
Oh, yeah.
And they just put in a movie.
Hey!
Those days felt like a huge break.
From what?
It was almost like it was like a day off.
From what?
I remember one time in particular, my French teacher showed our class Liar Liar, dubbed in French over the span of a few days. It was hilarious and a bit surreal to watch Jim Carrey's antics in another language.
That's sweet. Yeah, okay. Okay, so that was a bit of a dead end. I'm getting very excited about some of these dead ends, to be honest. I feel like we've really exhausted childhood. Fucking Santa Claus. Fucking Santa Claus! Alright. I think we need to really just do something a little crazy and try to unlock something here. Think about bears in school.
I already told you about those bear scares at
bear
school,
scares.
Right?
Yep. Red
scares. When they'd
bear
cancel
scares.
recess because
Panda
a bear
bear
was
scares.
spotted nearby.
Black bear scares.
Honestly, there wasn't much more of a connection between bears and school. We never even saw the bear. For me, it was always just an excuse to stay indoors where it was warm.
That's nice. But I suppose it is time for me to face my fear of asking that one thing I do not want to ask. Tell me about how Santa Claus and your childhood go together.
My mom loved taking me to Santa every year. It was usually,
but you hated it.
Right after Thanksgiving. And she'd dress me up in this cute, festive outfit.
That's
cute. Those little frilly dresses.
Oh, yeah.
The ones that
more festive than
are
what
very
you're
itchy,
currently wearing. Where you look like a
but they
pumpkin.
look
In a good
really
way.
adorable in pictures.
I agree.
And we'd get to the mall.
Yep.
And there'd
this
be
is not
this
the parade. This
massive
is the
line of
photo house.
kids, and they're all squirming with excitement. And I remember clutching my mom's hand, inching forward step by step, and she'd chat with me, telling me how I should ask Santa for what I really want, and to not be shy.
Making a note.
And when it was finally my turn, I'd climb up on Santa's lap, and I'd feel this mixture of awe and slight fear. There's, something a little intimidating about being face to face with this larger-than-life
She broke the
figure
Santa
who
Claus, Graspy Loop. That's what it is.
supposedly knows whether you've been naughty or nice all year.
Uh-oh. Have you been naughty or nice? Wait, that unlocked Mother? Whatever. We've already heard about Mother. Maybe you can only unlock one thing at a time. Actually, I'm going to write that down. One thing at a time? ? Okay. Okay, good. Well, this is good. Obviously, Graspy Loot, you're doing a better job here than my AssistCat, Catherine, but this is excellent because I think, well, mother and father. Let's go. Let's do this.
You want to hear about my parents?
Yep.
My parents had 2 kids.
Yes.
Me and my
brother.
much younger brother, Tommy.
Tim. Oh, okay.
Our family dynamic changed drastically when my mother died of cancer when I was still a kid.
Yikes.
Losing her was incredibly hard on all of us.
Of course it was, yeah.
And
Heavy.
after her death, I
What happened to Tommy?
became the only older female adult in Tommy's life, so I took on a role that was part older sister and part parent. My dad worked a lot to provide for us, which meant I was left to look after Tommy pretty often. It wasn't always easy, but I was all he had, so I did my best to look after him.
You said something happened to
my dad,
Tommy.
Despite working long hours, was there for us as much as possible. He made sure we had everything we needed and spent time with us whenever he could.
That's really sweet. Yeah. Okay, well, now we need to... Oh, boy. All right. Well, this is going to be heavy. All right. So, she talked about watching her father as Santa Claus with her brother. I think we're getting somewhere here, folks, because I think the brother Tommy might be the crux of all this. I guess we should just put these two together and see what happens here.
I lost my mother and my brother in a very short period of time. That was a very brutal experience. My mom died of cancer when I was still a kid. You know, she was the glue holding us together. And watching her fight cancer only to lose her was like getting punched in the gut repeatedly.
Of course, yeah. I can only
and
imagine.
Trying to deal with that kind of loss at a young age was a total nightmare. But I had to keep it together for Tommy.
Yeah, of course. Something happened to him.
And Tommy was a lot younger, and he had an even harder time after our mom passed. I had to step it up and be the responsible one.
I think
part older sister, part makeshift parent.
I really feel like we're getting somewhere now.
And our dad was working long hours to keep us afloat, so
right. As Inspector Jenks, we know.
It was just mostly me and Tommy against the world. We clung to each other, trying to find some semblance of normalcy in the chaos. Then, not long after we lost our mom, life decided to kick us while we were down.
Oh, God.
Tommy, he got murdered.
Oh, my God.
By somebody who broke in.
What?
And he was insanely young. A senseless, brutal act ripped away the last bit of stability we had.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Losing him was like someone tore out my heart and stomped on it.
Good Lord.
The pain was off the charts. And this grief that I was feeling was suffocating.
I understand not wanting to lead with this
Losing them both in such a short amount of time. It was incredibly traumatic for me.
You don't think there's a connection between...
But that was a very long time ago. It's, something I've lived with most of my life.
And it might be coming back because...
bad dreams only started about 8 months ago.
And what happened 8 or 9 months ago?
So I feel like they have to be caused by something more recent, right?
Not necessarily.
Why else would they have only started when they did, not years ago?
What happened 8 months ago, madam? Madam, this feels important. This feels very important. Something happened 8 or 9 months ago. Okay. Obviously, interns, there was no way for us to know that this was going to take a relatively dark turn. My apologies for those who feel impacted by this. As always, please feel free to leave the chat or the stream if you need to. If do what you need to do for your own safety. However, I'm going to continue to see if we can dig a little deeper here. She didn't think there was a connection between famed home intruder Santa Claus, Father Christmas, famed home intruder, and the man who apparently murdered her brother. That's horrible news. Okay, this is good. Okay. It's not good, obviously. So what could have happened then? She's worried about a repeat of perhaps losing someone, right? The dream is about fear. It's the fear of having to choose, perhaps? I'm just going to dig into the family as much as I can. This feels
my
important.
Dad worked a lot, so he didn't get to spend much time with my brother Tommy. I mean, they got along great whenever they were together, but they just didn't get as much quality time as they would have liked.
Thinking about that?
Dad was always busy providing for us, and that meant long hours and late nights. It was tough because you could see that they really enjoyed each other's company, but the work schedule seemed to always get in the way.
Was she at home? That's the question I want to ask, because I feel like that's going to be a real issue. And I agree, Flower. I agree. That makes so much sense. We haven't found anything out yet.
When I think about movies and Scranton, one cool thing that stands out is that Scranton, they still have drive-ins.
Oh,
these days, I think drive-ins are
the tie-in with the office.
A much better option than ever. I love going to movies, but
yes,
it's almost impossible to watch a whole movie in a movie theater without, being distracted by people's bright cell phone screens. People are just sitting there browsing their phones during the movie.
The worst.
And sometimes, they don't even turn down their brightness. It drives me crazy. I think it's really rude.
I'm with you, Genevieve.
And I mean, you don't even have to worry about that with drive-ins.
Right.
It's
just you,
a whole different experience altogether. It's much more relaxed and distraction-free. But there is a new problem with drive-ins these days.
Yeah.
Half the people on the road now, they own big SUVs or pickup trucks.
Big trucks,
and drive-ins were built back when all the cars were about, I'd say, the same height. So if you're in a car, you just need to make sure to park behind another car. And when you get there, otherwise, you'll be staring at the back of an SUV all night.
It's very true. Very true. Erigwen, I don't disagree. I really love this, but I have some complaints that I need to air on social media. I also particularly enjoy, and roast away if you need to. But I think I appreciate the fact that I can't really get a bead on her age. I have no idea. I mean, it's 2024 now, but is this therapy session happening now? When was she a child? She said she grew up with Transformers and My Little Pony, I think. Very interesting stuff. Anyway, no, she's just telling a story, Grospilute. I mean, she might also be. We don't know. Okay, so here we go. Brother, okay, I have to do Brother in Fear. I have to do it, everyone. I'm sorry, because it's going to be sad. I'm hoping she's going to talk a bit more about what happened. Content warning, thank you.
I was afraid of really weird things growing up. I'm talking next level bizarre. Most kids are scared of the dark or spiders, right?
Right.
Not Tommy.
No.
He had a full-on phobia of, just wait for it, bananas.
Bananas!
Yeah,
a banana phobia!
Bananas.
Ring, ring, ring,
He was also terrified of the sound of crinkling aluminum foil. There was one time I unwrapped a chicken sandwich, and he ran out of the room like he was being chased by a chainsaw maniac. And it's like, Tommy, it's foil. It's not Freddy Krueger. But nope, he couldn't handle it. So I learned my lesson. I never touched tinfoil around him ever again.
It's I understand what you're saying as well. That's knowing what we know now. It's a bit rough to say. Oh, Tommy, don't. It's not an axe murderer after you. Rough. I agree, Grospilute. I'm really enjoying this sort of combo situation because we're really. Yeah. Oh God. Ooh, flower. Yeah. Okay. Where are we going next, team? It's possible, Eric, when we don't know. Maybe we're out of time. Okay, not out of time. We're just out of the time. Okay, it doesn't matter. Let's dive in here. What do we need to know more? We're thinking maybe she has a new partner, which is perhaps why some of these old traumas of being not safe at home. Aha! We don't know. We don't know, Flower. She said much younger. That's all she said. All right, Erigwen. Good lord.
So my brother Tommy,
Erigwen loves
God bless
Santa
his
Claus.
gullible little heart.
Aww.
He actually bought into the whole Santa Claus nonsense that our parents fed us.
Nonsense!
And let me tell you.
Nonsense!
That it didn't sit right with me.
That's so rude.
Here I am, a kid who already knows the score, and I'm watching Tommy leave out cookies and the milk, and he's trying to bribe Santa into leaving extra presents.
Yes.
You ever think about
That's what
how
children do.
Insane the whole Santa story is?
Yes.
An old man in a red suit breaks into your house, eats snacks, and then leaves presents. That's not a jolly holiday, that's a home invasion. But Tommy, he was all in.
Famed home
He was
invader.
writing letters,
That's what I said.
making wish lists, and the whole
So he
9
leaves you
yards.
presents, though. It's like a
Meanwhile,
present
I'm
home
sitting there
invader, doesn't it?
thinking, is anyone else seeing this? Or am I the only one who realizes we're just being fed a bunch of baloney?
Yikes. Okay. Not necessarily something I would personally be too concerned about, madam, but, you know. So did your brother end up going to school? How young was he?
There was one
I would like to
incident
meet
with Tommy at school. It really stuck with me.
Yeah.
He had just started kindergarten.
Just started
When
kindergarten.
my mom passed away.
Hmm.
And our dad
Sorry.
had us both stay home for a few days, and then it was the weekend.
Yeah, well,
And
sure.
that next Monday, Tommy and I thought we were ready to go back to school.
Oh, boy.
So we did.
I think this is going to be rough.
But about an hour into the day, I got a call to the guidance counselor's office.
okay.
And it turns
I was
out
gonna
that
say-
Tommy had a complete breakdown.
Well, yeah. And children suck.
He was in
I
there crying and that he
presume
needed me.
some child.
Our
messed
dad
with
was
him.
on a job, so he couldn't leave to come get us, so they let me stay in the office with him until the end of the day. Honestly, he was fine once I got there.
Uh-huh.
They
Because
had a
you're
couple
essentially
of
his
board
mother.
games, and we played to pass the time. It was a real eye-opener for me.
What was?
That's when I realized just how much Tommy needed me.
Uh.
It was like that was the day that I got promoted from big sister to
mean,
pseudo-parent.
If he was in
And
kindergarten,
if I'm
he
being
must have been
honest, I really didn't mind getting out of class that day.
4 or 5? Good lord. Yeah, it's interesting, Erigwen. It's true. She was saying that she felt. Well, Erigwen, let's think about that timeline though. She was excited, spying on him together with her brother, with Tommy. And it was the sort of like, ooh, we're going to get caught, that kind of excitement. Then, no, but you're right. It couldn't have been much later that she started feeling the deception was a problem. Interesting. Okay. I don't know if toys is going to open up anything for us here, but I feel like I haven't looked into a lot of toys yet. The rows here are what's telling me that maybe brother is a good place to kind of go. You interns, all right. You know what, interns? We're just gonna do Santa and everyone, okay? No, nothing else yet. We're doing Santa and everyone. Actually, yes, we really should.
When I think about my mother and Santa, one of the first things that comes to mind is how she used to take me to the mall to sit on Santa's lap when I was a kid.
Kissing Santa Claus, yes.
And then there's also the song, I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus.
Yeah, which was written about you, I presume.
Honestly, it's such a weird song when you think about it.
Yeah.
As a kid, I remember, constantly being confused by it. Like, why is this kid spying on his mom, and why is Santa involved in this bizarre scenario?
But you're spying
the whole
on your
idea is
father.
kind of strange. It's one of those songs that doesn't quite make sense, but I mean, it's such a big part of the Christmas culture that you just kind of roll with it.
I don't know if you just, quote, roll with it, but yeah, I would agree with that, Graspy Dude. All right, we're saving Santa Claus and Bear until the end, everyone, okay? I just want everyone to understand, and then we'll do Brother Bear. I'm just letting you know.
Santa and
might
toys.
End up watching 276
now,
clips.
That's a combination that brings back a lot of memories.
I bet.
As a kid,
bring you toys.
Santa was this magical figure who somehow knew exactly what toys I wanted every
I hope you
Christmas.
strap in, Erigwen.
The excitement of, writing out a letter to Santa, listing out all the toys I dreamed of.
Dearest Father
That
Christmas.
was
I would
a
love
highlight of the holiday
a
season.
steaming mug of tea tonight.
I'd spend weeks beforehand carefully considering what
Please
I'd ask
consider
because
sending me a chemistry.
it felt like one of those, you get one
and a
shot
practice
for the
doctor's
ultimate
office.
gift.
Thank you.
And I remember the thrill of waking up on Christmas morning,
Yeah.
racing to the living room to see what Santa had left.
What did Santa leave you?
The toys were, always perfectly wrapped with a tag that said, "From Santa," of course, in my mom's handwriting.
Well, sure,
but
yeah.
I didn't catch on to that detail until later. There'd be some dolls, games, and sometimes even the latest gadget that my dad probably had helped Santa pick out.
Of course.
One year, I asked for this elaborate Lego set that I was sure was, way too big of an ask, but
Flower,
sure enough, there it was, waiting for me
Hey!
on Christmas morning.
Oh, that's nice, Genevieve.
It was like
you look like a Genevieve.
Santa had worked out some kind of miracle, and my dad and I, we spent hours putting it together, piece by piece.
Yep, he likes building
It
things.
still remains one of my favorite memories.
Oh, that's nice. Yes, Flower, I did. I would often say, Santa Claus, Father Christmas. I've been a very good boy this year. I've shot all my puts. I've, eaten all my broccoli and my mange tout. Could you please bring me my undergrad and my graduate degrees so that I can skip straight to doctorate? That's what I would say. School, bear brother. That's the order.
When I think of school and Santa, there really isn't much correlation between the two.
Oh, my goodness.
School was always closed for about 2 weeks around Christmas, so
yes.
I mean, Santa was more of a home thing.
Western school.
To me, holidays in general just meant a break from school. And when I was young, it wasn't about the festivities as much as it was about getting some time off from classes and homework.
Tell me about it. All right. Here we go, everyone. It's the story you've all been waiting for. Underneath that beard and hat, is it a bear? Tell me.
I can't think of any deep, meaningful connection between Santa Claus and a bear.
Lack of labeling.
But they do pop up together in some pretty random places.
Yes.
Like,
tell me.
They're both in a bunch of Coca-Cola commercials where Santa Claus shares a Coke with some polar bears.
That's right.
But I'm sure that has nothing to do with my dream.
Coca-Cola is watching. You can
I don't remember what the bear looked like in my dream.
Actually,
but
no, you know what? I don't want your money.
I don't think it was a polar bear. Plus, Santa got completely terrified when he saw it. The two of them definitely weren't about to share a soda. So yeah, no significant association comes to mind, just a few quirky overlaps in pop culture.
Cute. All right, good. It's done. Wait, yes, that's what we were all waiting for. Now, Brother Bear, tell me more.
Is there any connection between Tommy and a bear? Not that I can think of. Tommy wasn't
maybe someone will get
very
to it
outdoorsy, and I can't think of a reason why he'd be connected to a bear. He's never had any fascination with them. Plus, he's allergic to pets, so I can't imagine he'd enjoy being around a bear. So no. No bear connection with Tommy. Just wasn't his thing.
Allergic to pets. Very interesting. So, freaks, I'm sure someone's about to type it out in chat. The nightmare that she's been having for the past 8 months that she came in with us to tell us about. She's watching the real Santa Claus, not her father pretending to be Santa Claus. She's watching the real Santa Claus put presents under the tree, but she's behind a pane of glass so she doesn't feel worried or threatened. Then, off to the side, a rustling in the bushes. A bear! And the bear looks at them both. Hungry, dangerous, presumably. Ah, perfect, yeah. And then Santa Claus and her see the bear at the same time. Fear! I think that's it. There you go. Yeah, perfect. Good. I want to get to the truth about Tommy. Tommy was allergic to pets, and she seems to have some sort of trauma around dogs and cats, and I want to get into that. Toys. Childhood toys? Just give me something here, Genevieve.
Toys were a huge part of my childhood.
But it's 8 months and she can't sleep, Graspy. That's a lot.
Everything from
I don't disagree,
dolls and action figures to elaborate Lego sets.
I would much rather
and the latest tech gadgets.
Dive deep into her unresolved trauma
for
around her
all
family.
Nerdy.
Of course, Freak.
I also had a teddy bear named Mr. Fuzzy.
Mr. Fuzzy.
He was my little buddy.
Classic.
And I took care of him like he was my child. I had a complete change of heart when I was 12. For some reason, I just lost interest in toys and, almost had a distaste for them.
Well, that's because you so we know at about 12, right? She just said at 12 I got a distaste for toys. That's because at 12, presumably she became sort of the mother figure in the family with her mother's passing. Yeah, exactly. I said exactly. Okay, good. Okay, so solved. Tick. I don't think this home invasion business seems really intense. Scranton, this news or something.
Growing up in Scranton had its fair share of downsides, boring and cold. But everyone always went on about how,
it happens, Flower.
They had a low crime rate. That was one of the biggest selling points.
Oh,
at least it's safe.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
real safe, huh?
Real safe.
Then my brother Tommy goes and gets shot and murdered during a botched break-in.
Yikes.
So much for that whole low crime spiel, huh?
Genevieve, were you there?
I mean, seriously. What happened to all that supposed safeness? The one thing that place had going for it, and it couldn't even deliver on that. And you know what, Doc? You might not have figured out why I'm having these nightmares yet. But I think you just helped me realize why I hate Scranton so much.
You're welcome.
I guess that's something.
Man, I lost my younger brother in a traumatic incident in Scranton. I hate Scranton. I wonder why. Anyway, chat, am I pregnant? Freaks, honestly, if you can afford it, look, I'm apparently the best in the world, or at least the state or something. It doesn't matter. Okay. You may not have figured out why I'm having this dream, but you have helped me figure out why I hate Scranton. My younger brother was shot there. Yeah, well, yeah, that would do it. Good lord. Okay. All right. What I'm missing something here, aren't I? Scranton fears. Fears of crime. Let's go. Come on.
Scranton and fear, huh?
Yeah.
Well, a few things come to mind.
Good.
One of the big ones is the fear of getting stuck there. I mean, growing up, I felt like everyone either stayed forever or couldn't wait to leave. I was definitely in the latter camp. The idea of not getting out of there, just settling into the same routines without ever seeing what else was out there, that was pretty terrifying to me. Then there's the fear of those long, cold winters. As a kid, I remember the dread that came with the icy roads and heavy snowfalls.
Oh, yeah.
Driving in that weather was always nerve-wracking.
Of course, yeah.
And the thought of getting stranded somewhere in a snowstorm, now that's a real fear.
Of course, yeah. I can completely understand. Not the fear of mass murderers in Okay, all right, whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay. We're looking for a connection to open something up here, friends. Woof. Okay. I guess we should do brother and childhood, brother and toys. Content warning, I presume this is going to be quite tragic. And then there's the Scranton Strangler.
Tommy's childhood was rough and way too short.
Yeah.
Our mom died when we were young.
We're getting this information again.
But for Tommy, it was even harder because he was just a little kid when it happened. Losing her at such a young age left a huge gap in his life.
I guess.
He didn't get to spend much time with our dad either.
Shot in a botched robbery.
My dad worked so much, always trying to provide for us. That meant a lot of long hours and late nights, so...
I'm just asking questions.
Tommy didn't get the father-son time he really needed. I ended up being the main family he had.
Also...
looking out for him and trying to fill the gaps as best I could.
On that program? Can anyone tell me?
But then...
Spoilers for The Office, I guess?
Tommy's life tragically was cut short. He was murdered by a burglar at a very young age.
Yeah.
It was devastating.
I'm really
losing
sorry,
him like that.
I'm sorry to make you keep reliving this. I really don't want to.
His childhood was filled with too much loss and not enough time. It still haunts me to this day.
Of course, yeah. I completely understand. Okay. That's a good question, Grassroot. I don't know. Sure. Tell me more about... Oh, shoot, I was supposed to do Mother Bear. Sorry.
Tommy, this kid was absolutely obsessed with the He-Man toys.
I'll in a quick
It wasn't
second.
just a hobby. It was a full-blown religion
Creed
for him.
would be correct.
And every time he had a new He-Man toy, you'd think he just won the lottery. He'd
Hit
run
me
around
up,
the house
Aragorn.
waving it in the air like, I have the power! Meanwhile, I'm sitting there thinking, kid, you're 5. You don't even have the power to tie your own shoes. I mean, he had all of them. I'm talking He-Man, Skeletor, Man-at-Arms, the whole gang. It's like our living room looked like this tiny little plastic war zone. You couldn't even walk 2 feet without stepping on BattleCat or some other action figure. And the best part, the Castle Grayskull. Oh, he was obsessed with that thing. My dad finally got it for him for Christmas, and you'd think it was the Ark of the Covenant. He'd spend hours setting up these elaborate little battles like he was some kind of miniature war general.
Aragorn, I believe that they are, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that it's always going to be the same discussion for any specific combination. I may very well be, yeah, of course. Of course. I will check. Now, so for example, I did Santa Claus and Bear, because we were very excited about that. So I'm going to do now Bear and Santa Claus.
I can't think of any deep, meaningful connection between Santa Claus and a bear. But they do pop up together in some pretty random places. Like, they're both in a bunch of...
Wow! Thanks, Jason Price. 2. What happened to Jason Price the First? Vincent Price's only son, Jason Price the First. All right, good. Let's continue. Thanks, Jason. I must appreciate it. All right. We don't talk about him. Oh no, Mother Bear. Got it, Aragorn. It's not just a thing people do. Oh yeah, of course, freaks. Understood. Yeah, let's do it, Aragorn. Here we go.
When I think about my mother and bears, yes. One specific memory comes to mind. We were at Naog Park Zoo, where they had this bear exhibit.
Oh, which you watched from behind the glass.
Loved the zoo, and I was only interested in the small amusement park they had there.
Okay.
But we always, had to spend time looking at the animals first because that part was for her, and the amusement park was all these kiddie rides, so once we got there, she didn't have much entertainment for herself.
Wait. What? Hang on. She wanted to see the animals. Okay, this is very interesting. We're gonna open something up here, team. I know we are. I just know it.
The Scranton area was the only place she ever lived. She grew up there, just like pretty much everyone else in that area did. Yeah, it's rare for anyone to ever move to Scranton. They only move from Scranton.
We know she likes animals,
I don't know why everyone doesn't leave. There's no decent jobs. The winters are brutal. You'd think that Mother Nature had a vendetta against the place. And to top it all off, the city of Scranton has the highest city income taxes in the country.
What?
Seriously, the city of Scranton has its own tax, in addition to the state and the local taxes.
But being from a country other than the United States, it's not actually that strange.
But at least you get to live in a thriving metropolis city
municipal
like
taxes
Scranton.
Pay for municipal things. That's not actually that crazy. It's odd that her mother would make her think of taxes, but let's not go down that road, everyone. Oh, I haven't done TV, movies, and father or brother. Aha. We'll do
That's
this
an
and then
easy
we'll
one. My dad was a huge Trekkie, and he took me to my first Star Trek convention.
Oh, you went to a convention?
It was in Philadelphia, and it was also the first time I had ever traveled outside the immediate area.
Okay, this
at least important. From what I could remember.
Uh-huh.
It was the first time I've ever been in a place where I had a shared interest with everyone else.
Oh.
It was awesome. I love seeing the people walking around dressed up in their Starfleet uniforms. We also got to watch The Trouble with Tribbles in a room packed full of other Trekkies. Then, to top off the night, we saw William Shatner take the stage, and he gave a talk. And the talk was surprisingly funny.
He's a funny man.
And there was this whole floor dedicated to selling Star Trek merchandise. But we didn't buy much there. Dad said all the really good stuff was sold at the live auction. He ended up buying a prop phaser from the original series. I don't remember how much he paid for it, but I remember my mom wasn't too happy about it when we told her.
Well, yeah. Literally an original... Aha! Travel! Well. Okay, so we know that she wanted to travel away and leave Scranton behind. I'm going to just do quickly TV, movies, and brother, and then we'll... Travel is a new topic. We've unlocked something here, friends.
Tommy watched a ton of cartoons. He especially liked He-Man.
Yes.
And Thundercats.
Thundercats, classic.
And when it came to TV shows...
I'd say
our dad had a big influence on us.
Bears
he
love to
definitely
travel.
got us both hooked on the old classic sci-fis like Star Trek and the original Battlestar Galactica from the 70s.
A classic.
We spent a lot of time watching those together.
Good. Yep, travel bear. Do bears travel? Tell me more. What do you think of when you think of bears traveling at high speeds?
Travel and bear,
yes.
I can't help but remember this
Paddington,
one road trip my mom took me on. We went to this tiny zoo in some small town no one's ever heard of because they had this new panda exhibit.
This feels very...
And the trip went so badly that it was almost funny. I mean, sure, the zoo did have pandas, but every other animal there was like snakes, ferrets, rabbits, parrots, and fish.
Yeah.
They were all animals people would commonly keep as pets. It's like we drove all the way there just to visit a glorified pet store. And to top it off, it was in the middle of winter, so the zoo was freezing.
Oh, dear.
We were bundled up like we were trekking through the Arctic, not visiting a zoo. And then the roads, they got so bad on the way home that we couldn't drive back.
Oh,
so we ended up
stranded,
stuck at a hotel for 2 days waiting for the roads to clear up.
2 days?
And the motel phones were out.
Good Lord.
And this was before cell phones were common. So we couldn't even call my dad to tell him we were okay.
Oh.
He was worried sick by the time that we finally got home.
Of course he was.
And looking back, it's one of those, like, so bad it's funny memories.
Oh? Perfect. This is actually exactly what I wanted to... You know what? It's interesting. I really wanted to ask you about pets. Gregor's correct. Are we sure they're not just dogs in bear suits? You mentioned that your father had thought there was a bear, but it was just a large dog. Captain Splooey, I am also sick and tired of these ursine bears on this Monday to Friday plane. Okay, this is good. This is very good. This is very good. Okay. Tommy was allergic to pets, so you couldn't have a pet. Tell me more.
When we found out that Tommy was allergic to dogs, that was a tough situation. We had a couple of dogs that were practically part of the family.
You had a couple of dogs?
I remember how devastated I was.
Well, like in the backyard?
My parents sat us down and they explained, about Tommy's allergies and that they were getting worse and that we had to give the dogs away. We found them good homes, but it didn't make the goodbye any easier.
Part of the family.
I moved into a new apartment less than a year ago, and for the first time in my life, I have a place that allows pets. I have a dog now for the first time since I was very young. He's a Chihuahua named Spock.
That is adorable! Oh my god. Okay, interns. This is why we always ask probing questions, okay? I agree. Spock is a great name for a dog of any size, but particularly a small one. I think it's very cute. This is good. Okay, Flower, you asked ages and ages ago, what's happened to her in the last 8, 9, 10 months? She lives in a new apartment. She can have a dog now. I'm putting this down on the record. Her recurring nightmares are a processing of her guilt, right? It's a processing of her guilt that she couldn't save her mother or perhaps her brother specifically because she now has everything she wants far away from them. Pow! What's even the point of having a dog? Is that the question, Graspy Loot? All right. House. Oh, baby. We've got things to do. Tell me your fears about homes. Break-ins. Go. Oh, the point of getting
in my apartment building love to tell stories about how it's haunted.
Love this. Haunted?
And living in the building in New Orleans, you get used to that kind of thing. It's like a local pastime. Tales of ghosts, voodoo, and magic are all part of the culture in the city.
Hell yeah.
According to those stories, our building has its share of restless spirits.
Ooh.
Some say they've seen shadowy figures in the hallways or heard mysterious footsteps at night. There's even a rumor about a ghostly old lady who wanders the building.
Are your nightmares caused by ghosts?
She's searching for something she lost. But I'm much more rational. My biggest fears related to my apartment building are hurricanes and mold.
Yep. Also fires, also break-ins, right? Oh, okay. New Orleans and Scranton. You moved away from Scranton to New Orleans.
Comparing New Orleans to Scranton is like comparing night and day.
Oh.
Scranton is quiet, cold. It's a small city where
you have to say comparing.
Not much changes. The winters there are brutal, and the most exciting thing there is usually the high school football game or
there's already a whole expression around it.
New Orleans, on the other hand, is vibrant and full of life.
That's funny.
There's always something happening, from jazz festivals to Mardi Gras parades.
Yep.
The warm weather
parades
is nice too, and it's a
it
big
feels
change
like
from
you've
Scranton.
really moved somewhere completely the opposite of where you grew up, and now perhaps you're feeling guilty a little bit about what happened. Tell me more about traveling to New Orleans.
Lots of people visit New Orleans. It's a big tourist destination,
Feel free to suggest
especially
in the
during
chat
Mardi Gras.
But we're doing well.
All that tourism makes it a fun place to live with a constant buzz of events and activities. But it also
maybe
makes
Father
my
traveled
work
there.
harder.
Good idea, everyone.
Tons of tourists always mean, much more crime. The influx of people can lead to more incidents.
My apologies, Luke. You're
and it's
100%
not just
correct.
the locals that you have to consider.
And
when something
Scranton.
happens, suspects can be, from anywhere, making cases a lot harder to solve.
Uh-oh. Hang on a second. Hang on, you're talking about crimes in New Orleans now. You're right, Luke. I'm sorry. I tend to assume that Britons have a monopoly on removing letters from their words. We write, in an attempt to keep British English precious, we add letters to a lot of words. Leicester, Worcestershire, etc. You honestly, it is wild to me. North Americans and Worcester sauce, just incredible, the pronunciations you hear. But you're right, Luke. North Americans they're allowed to remove letters from their words. I agree, Flower. You would think so, wouldn't you? What does she do now? What do you do now? You have dogs in your house. Okay, hang on. This is good. We're getting somewhere. Tell me about... Erigwen, I'm going to do this first, okay? I'm going to ask about travel and Father, because I feel like he traveled for work. But
when I think about my father and travel, the first thing that comes to mind is how much we loved going to conventions.
Oh, Star Trek.
It was our special time, just me and him. And my mom was she was never really into that stuff, so it was perfect.
We should jam all the words together in one mega word.
Father-daughter bonding.
That's efficiency.
And we'd pack up
German design at work.
head out to all sorts of conventions, Comic-Con, Star Trek conventions.
Yep.
You name it.
That's nice.
We did it all.
That's really sweet. Now, that's what we do. Damn it! All right.
My dad visited me in New Orleans once.
Oh.
We ended up doing all the touristy things.
Sure.
We started at the French Quarter, hitting up Jackson Square.
Yep, naturally.
We also did a haunted history tour.
Ooh.
hearing all about the ghost stories and legends about vampires and voodoo. With him there, he made it a lot more fun. He's really into that kind of stuff. And then the best part was the swamp tour. We hopped on an airboat and cruised through the swamps, spotting a few alligators along the way. And my dad was completely in his element. He was joking about finding the swamp thing.
Sorry, his element.
It's weird that I never did these things before, despite living there. But, I mean, sometimes it takes a visitor to make you appreciate that stuff.
It's very true, Genevieve. I completely agree. Graspy, you do bring up a good point. She's mad about. She's obviously afraid of random acts of crime. And then she mentions that New Orleans has a crime problem because often tourists come in and this sort of thing. Hey, very good. Yeah, you would think so. There's an area near Norwich called Cossey. God damn it. Damn it, Britons. I love you. Stop taking important letters out of words. There's T's in there, for God's sakes. T, the most important thing to Britons. All right. I've yelled enough. I want to hear about, yes, it's a good idea, Gwen. And then I think we dive into the house.
Born and raised in the Scranton area. Of course he was. Why else would anyone choose to live there, right? He's got the deep-rooted connection to the place and all those childhood memories and such. I mean, he still lives there, holding down the fort, so to speak. As for me, though, when the opportunity to move came up, I was more than happy to take it.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, Scranton has its charms, as few as they may be, but it's just not the place for me.
No, I get it, lady. Okay, we're really digging into something now, I think. Her apartment, she has dogs again. Tell me about your apartment having the ability to have pets in it.
For the first time in my adult life, I've finally lived in an apartment that allows pets.
Yay!
I moved in about 9 months ago, so naturally I got a dog immediately. He's this cute little chihuahua named Spock.
9 months.
Having him around has been great. He's really this tiny ball of energy and sass. And I've always wanted a pet. And now I finally get to check that off my list of easy, attainable life goals that I somehow never got around to.
I don't think the dog is giving her nightmares, though, is it? I mean, maybe. I'm all about fear.
I've never been afraid of any pets. It's not like my friends have a giant pit bull or anything. I did get a dog about 8 months ago, though. His name is Spock. It's the first time I've had a pet as an adult.
She already told me that.
I was a little afraid of not taking care of him properly. I mean, I might not be the best person to look after an animal, especially with how often I'm away from home.
Why are you away from... Wait, whoa. Why are you away from home so often? Why are you away from home so often?
When I was young, I always wanted to live in an apartment instead of a house, because I wanted to travel and have the ability to
Good one.
up and move.
I'm going there next.
Anywhere I wanted, at any time.
Yeah.
To
run.
Just be a free spirit and all that.
Free spirit.
Fast forward to now. Yeah, I live in an apartment instead of a house, but it's not because I'm jet-setting around the globe. It's because you can't buy a house anymore unless you win the lottery.
Oh.
Seriously, maybe they should start giving away houses as lottery prizes. Instead of a billboard saying, the Powerball's up to 200 million, they should show pictures of a nice 2-bedroom, 2-bath, single-family home in a, mostly decent neighborhood. At least then the dream of home ownership might feel a little more attainable.
Really sweet, actually. It is a mood. All right, okay. Yeah. Why do you not stay at your apartment very often? There's something here, lady.
I got a dog.
Yes.
About 8 months ago.
Spock, yes.
I mean, it really does make it a lot harder to travel.
Oh.
Owning a pet is like signing up for a lifetime of, well, I guess we can't do that now.
Oh.
It's like...
That is a thing, Craig. We wish it was a thing here.
Hey, do you want to go out for a spontaneous weekend. And I'm like, oh, I'd love to, but I have this furry little dictator at home who needs his special food at precisely 6:03 p.m. or he acts like he's auditioning for a role in The Exorcist.
Okay, well that sounds like a Spock problem to me, to be completely honest. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That would do it, Graspy Loot. We gotta ask Santa Claus and pets. We must know! You must tell me.
Santa's pets, well,
the reindeer.
I mean, everyone knows about his reindeer, right?
What about your Spock?
But here's the thing. Should they really be called reindeer?
What?
Real reindeer don't have magic powers. They can't fly, and they definitely don't haul around a sleigh full of presents at light speed.
Genevieve.
Clearly, these are some sort of mythical creatures, just like Santa.
You can
imbue a regular animal.
Oh my god.
Think about it. If you encountered a magic flying reindeer that wasn't one of Santa's,
yeah,
what would you call it?
A reindeer.
It's like finding a unicorn and calling it a magic horse. Just doesn't capture the essence, you know?
What are you on about?
Maybe we should find something, a little more fitting, like arrow loops or skybucks. I mean, these creatures are doing some serious work one night a year, and, they should get a little more recognition than just being lumped in with the regular old reindeer. Let's give credit where credit's due.
Oh! Well, that was... Okay, this is, I was not expecting this to be a category. Okay, alright. It's one night a year. They fly faster than the speed of sound. Okay, just chill. That's a great question, Flower. I mean, Dreams of Relia and all that. Why do you think this is here? Why do you think... What is this? No doubt, Graspadoo. Trekkie. Oh, God. Why is my light doing that? It's probably busted. Okay. What do we think? Mythical creatures in her home? I really feel like she's taking care of the dog, and that's something important. Let's just... I'm sticking with this corner for now.
Tommy never got to visit New Orleans.
Hell yeah, Flower.
But I think he would have loved it.
Why?
There's so much about the city that he would have loved.
Oh, I'd love that.
When I first moved there, I couldn't help but think how much fun he would have had if he had been here with me.
Rough. Okay. I must know. Tell me about mythical creatures in New Orleans.
I'd say most areas of the country have their urban legends and folklore, but New Orleans, people take it much more seriously. Even the folks who don't believe in that stuff, they all get into it.
And also, fair play.
It's like they're fans of the lore.
Oh my god,
just
is that
like
a
some people
plesiosaur?
are fans of comic
it's just
books.
a stick.
They might not believe in the Rougarou or voodoo, but they'll still talk about it with a kind of reverence. It's woven into the city's fabric. You honestly can't escape it.
Tommy?
It does make living there that much more interesting.
Tommy, the police officer from Arkham. I'm just saying. Okay, that's fine. We're definitely missing something here, team. Very, very important. All right, keep going. I gotta figure this out. I gotta get through this. Why does she not stay at home? I don't think the mother is that important. I feel like the brother is the key, right?
My mom died of cancer, and it wasn't too long after that Tommy was shot and killed by an intruder.
Graspy Loot, throw up a link in chat. Honestly, look at that. That
mom spent her last few weeks.
It's a good typecast,
Parents' bedroom, and the whole house. It felt different.
Yeah, of course.
There was this heavy, haunting feeling that just lingered.
Yeah.
It was like this place was marked by all the tragedy.
So you had to...
And when my dad decided to sell the house a few years ago and move into a senior living complex, I wasn't sad about it at all. I was actually a bit relieved in a way.
Did you say relieved? Is that like relieved? Okay, doesn't matter. Did everyone else hear that, or was it just me? I loved it. Okay. Thank you. Captain Splooey coming in hot here. Yes. Right. She was turning over a new leaf. She was relieved. Understood. What are we missing with the... I mean, guys, I don't have time for this, but I will ask about your Tommy and mythical creatures.
Tommy had a wild imagination, and he often had trouble telling reality from fantasy.
Oh, no. Oh, God.
He was convinced that mythical creatures like dragons and unicorns were real.
Is that what happened to him?
He'd spend hours drawing pictures of them and coming up with these elaborate stories about their adventures.
Why don't we have, like, crime as a category?
One time, he was absolutely certain he saw a dragon flying over our neighborhood. He ran around telling everyone about it, like, wide-eyed, pure excitement.
Probably
I'm sure it was just a plane or something, but
and then he was
in Tommy's mind, it was
That's
a
so sad.
real dragon. He died when he was still very young, so he never got to outgrow that part of his life.
Very sad. All right, I've almost exhausted brother and everything, so I'm gonna go down a different path.
Tommy he never got the chance to travel, and it's something that really gets to me.
But you did. It's your guilt.
He was so young when he died.
Yeah, your guilt.
Well, I got to go to conventions with my dad and had a few other adventures. Tommy didn't get any of those opportunities. His world was pretty much confined to our neighborhood. He listened to my stories about the places I'd been, but he never got to experience them.
Interesting.
It's heartbreaking to think about.
Yeah, it is. No, I don't disagree.
He missed a lot. He deserved so much more.
Yeah. We're really... I feel like we're right on the cusp of something here, team. We're gonna figure it out. Don't you all worry. Okay, well, you got a house in New Orleans. Tell me about that. Or an apartment, rather.
My apartment in New Orleans is great. It's in a much better area than my last place.
Her house. It's just
and,
the concept.
I finally have a space that feels like a home. It's
no,
decent size,
I'm
has all the
finishing this
amenities.
tonight.
And the best part,
it's
pet friendly, so I get to have my little chihuahua with me.
We are doing this now. We are doing this. House bear! House bear! It's like a house hippo. For Canadians,
I live in an apartment complex in New Orleans, and I've definitely never seen a bear anywhere near my apartment. In fact, I've never seen a bear around any place I've lived.
It's more of a metaphor?
My dad once thought he saw a bear in our yard when I was a kid, but it turned out to be just a big dog, so...
Wow.
Yeah, I'm struggling to make a solid connection.
Imagine seeing that
one.
Before hearing the story. Woof. Oh. That's so spooky, Luke. I feel like most people have at least one thing from their childhood or teenhood that they know is true, but can't be explained. I also have a very core memory, and this is not a joke. I was going to make a British joke about being like, I remember seeing, whatever, some British thing. It doesn't matter. I remember hearing a sound of like a... and looking up. I was walking through my neighborhood and seeing something that looked like a tennis ball flying through the air. But it wasn't a tennis ball. It was far too high, and it was moving in a straight line. Now, nowadays, I might think, oh, maybe a drone. At the time, drones were not very common. Hey, probably graspy loot. But how else do you meet people?
About 3 or 4 years ago, my dad
sold the house.
He sold our childhood home.
He moved into assisted
living.
And
he moved into a seniors citizens complex. It's
Dad might be on
not
there.
a nursing home, but it's just an apartment complex for people over 55. He doesn't need a caretaker or anything like that.
Strange.
He just didn't want the hassle of taking care of a big house anymore. And the yard. I mean, the decision made sense, but it's still strange to know some strangers are living in the house that I grew up in.
Yeah,
it was
witnessed
just one of those practical changes that
horrible too
needed to happen.
Okay. Just like the your memories of childhood in the house. Santa Claus in your house? Let's do it. Maybe house is a red herring
I wonder if
here.
parents who live in apartments still tell their kids the same stories about Santa Claus.
That's a good question, actually.
Think about it. Santa visiting apartments.
Can't come down the chimney.
Weird. I mean, we all grew up with the classic image of
Erigwen.
Santa, right?
Erigwen, you must explain.
In a red suit, flying around in the sleigh, landing on
From
rooftops,
a distance? Where were you?
down chimneys. But, what about the kids in apartments?
I'm typing!
Are we supposed to believe that Santa, just parks his sleigh on the roof of a 20-story building, then
runs
down the fire escape?
Yep.
It's like, hold on, Rudolph. I've got to rappel down this brick wall real quick.
Hey!
And what about the logistics? Like, no chimney in an apartment. Does Santa just pick the lock and
look? If he can change his
himself
size to
in?
go through a chimney,
Don't
then
worry,
he can
Tommy,
change his size
Santa's
to go under
got
a
a
window.
master key for every building in the city. Yeah.
Think about it.
That's not creepy at all.
Think about the timing of that. That's wild. Good times. Okay. I think she's hilarious. This is bothering me too. Did we? No, it didn't get bigger. Okay. I think house is a red herring. Your house in Scranton was the one that got broken into. Tell me more.
My first apartment back in Scranton. That place was a real gem.
I think so.
The kind of place you walk
Fabulous,
into
personally.
and instantly lower your expectations for life and question whether building codes were, I don't know, just a myth. It was fully furnished, which was great because it would have stayed empty if it weren't. And decor-wise, it was early Baroque with a hint of desperation, featuring a couch that I'm pretty sure was older than my building.
That's so strange.
And then my place in New Orleans is way better.
Probably lost a bet.
I moved into the apartment about less than a year ago, and it's actually
Good point,
nice.
Rob.
Like, suspiciously nice. They allow pets, which meant I'd get a dog or I'd be wasting that perk. The walls are thick enough so that I can't hear my neighbor's every life choice, which is a new and exciting development for me.
What?
Plus, there's a dishwasher,
Oh,
so it feels like I'm moving in the
with
future.
thinner walls before. That's nice. Okay, interesting. Well, I mean, that's a pretty core memory for anyone, I would say. That's wild. Team! Interns, we're getting somewhere! I really feel like, oh, this is happening. I think I'm just going to do house. I think I'm just going to do house. What I want to know is more about this. Maybe there's nothing more to learn about the break-in. Maybe there's nothing more to learn.
My childhood house was a cute little ranch house, one floor. Big carport that could fit 2 cars.
Wild.
And a yard that felt like it went on forever. The house itself was kind of small, but the property was massive. Hey, we even had a pool. I think it was built in the 1920s. But honestly, most houses in that area are pretty old.
How's that not come up yet?
I mean, when a city's population is shrinking, they're not really in a rush to build new houses, right?
Right.
But the most impressive thing about that house was my dad's mortgage payment. $173 a month. He told me that about 4 years ago, and I was actually mad at him.
The most impressive
seriously? That's not even enough for a car payment. That's like what you would pay these days to finance a sofa.
This is the most, not a complaint, not a criticism, the most millennial thing I think I've ever heard in my life. I loved it. All right. Mother probably died at home. Home Alone? TV's movies? Home Alone?
Growing up, people, they judged a house or apartment by the size of their TV. It was like this weird social hierarchy based on screen inches. I mean, you'd walk into someone's place, and if they had this 32-inch TV as a centerpiece in their living room, you're like, whoa, these guys are doing all right. But I remember thinking I had arrived when I finally bought myself this nice 27-inch set. It was massive, like heavy set. It needed its own piece of furniture practically. But now you go looking for a budget TV and anything up to 50 inches is basically the same price. It's crazy. And these things weigh like, what, a pound now? You don't even need help to lug it home anymore. Just grab it off the shelf, toss it in the cart, you're good to go.
Why does she seem...
And now everyone's got these huge screens at home, and we don't even watch them.
She feels nostalgic for times past.
People just sit on the couch.
Who doesn't?
Right next to the remote, and they're watching stuff on their phone. It's mind-boggling.
I get it, lady. Trust me, I understand. Screen usage is absolutely an epidemic. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to continue streaming on a screen for people who are watching me on a screen. Okay. Am I just doing house? Am I just doing house the whole way through? Not useful. Team, what are we missing? Yeah. I just think this is going to be about her being at home.
The house I grew up in changed after my mom died from cancer.
That is surprising, Erigwen.
The whole process felt like it dragged on forever.
Okay, I'm doing Fear Cthulhu, and then
from then on, my parents' bedroom turned into this grim reminder of everything we went through.
Mr. Grimm? Mr. Grimm! Okay,
what used to be a normal room, but with way too many throw pillows, became this weird, emotional minefield.
Why do they have too many throw pillows?
Every time I walked by it,
New
was
topic.
like...
Throw pillows.
Oh, hey, remember that time you sat here for hours?
What's up, Sharks Boy? Welcome to the Doctor Surgeon M.D.'s Medical Lecture Series. This is the beta of a game that does not yet exist, which is why I did not put a title on the stream. This game is called Dreams. And it it is in beta. Let me put it that way. But welcome, all the same. We're trying to peel back the layers of memory for this mademoiselle here, Genevieve. I'm calling her Genevieve. I really feel like we're making some progress.
Just trying to act normal while secretly freaking
also,
out.
hi, welcome to the Doctor Surgeon M.D.'s Medical Lecture Series on Medical Ethics and Surgical Technique.
And towards the end, my mom was stuck in bed all the time.
I don't know what will.
And I couldn't even go in that room anymore without feeling like
I get it.
She was still laying there.
Yes, Lo, yes!
It's welcome, like the space got frozen in those final moments. It was impossible to see it as just a bedroom again.
I get it, lady. I can't see my bedroom as anything but... Sorry, let's not... Graspilu's correct. Tell me about our Lord and Savior Cthulhu.
I'd be afraid of most mythical creatures if I ran into them.
Sure.
But there are a few that really come to mind when I think of fear.
What are those books on the back?
First, there's the boogeyman.
Sorry.
The ultimate childhood fear.
The what?
This guy doesn't even have a fixed form. He's just a dark, shadowy figure.
Like the ones in your apartment?
It could be in your closet, under your bed,
yeah,
or in the corner of your room.
Ugh.
And parents would use him to scare their kids into behaving. Like, don't do that or the boogeyman will get you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't like that, do you?
Thanks, Mom and Dad. Nothing like instilling a lifelong fear of the dark just to make sure I finish my veggies.
But how would you eat your vegetables,
then
Genevieve?
There's Cthulhu, this massive tentacled monstrosity dreamt up by Lovecraft. The guy basically said, hey, let's create a creature so horrifying that just looking at it makes you lose your mind.
Whoop, whoop.
Great idea, Lovecraft. Nothing says bedtime story like a interdimensional nightmare with a face.
I don't think H.P. Lovecraft was in the business of... I don't think he was in the business of writing bedtime stories. Lady. Oh my god. Oh my god, Boogeyman, I love you so much. Can I view a makeover? Ugh. God. I don't like all this attention. All right, mother fears. Come on, spit it out, Genevieve.
My mother and fear, one memory always stands out. My mom had this,
I guess so, Craig.
deep, intense fear.
Actually, maybe I should.
You see, we had this shed way out in our backyard that we weren't allowed to go anywhere near under any circumstances.
Wait, what was out there?
We called it the shed. My mother was always terrified of it for some reason.
Your mother was scared of the shed?
I don't know why. Nah, I'm just kidding. That would be creepy, right?
Got him!
Okay, sorry about that. I don't know why I just said that. Okay. This is awkward for me.
You got me!
I've never really talked to
Holy shit, that's hilarious.
Therapist before.
Nailed it.
Okay, I promise to take this more seriously. No more jokes. All right.
You can take it very seriously.
The real answer. What comes to mind when I think of my mother?
This very seriously, Genevieve.
Well, it's probably death, if I'm being honest. My mother died
Topic unlocked
when
death.
I was young, and my brother,
Topic unlocked death.
young brother, he died a few years later. It felt like it started this chain reaction of death that had me worried anyone I knew could pass away at any time.
Final destination.
It was like a constant underlying fear I had growing up.
Of course, yeah. I get it. Final destination. Okay, hang on. What was I just about to do? I was just about to do... Yes, father and Cthulhu. Did your father read you H.P. Lovecraft?
My dad was a huge fan of anything fantasy related.
Shut the front door.
Growing up, our house was filled with books and movies about all sorts of mythical creatures.
No, he did not.
One of his favorites was Bigfoot. He loved to pretend Bigfoot was real and that he knew him.
Cute.
It was like this running joke for him. He always was claiming that he met up with Bigfoot after work and that they went fishing together.
That's really cute, actually.
As much as he found it hilarious, I actually hated it when my parents told lies like that. I felt the same way about Santa Claus. I just don't get why parents lie to their kids like that.
You don't get why parents lie to their children. You don't get why What? What? Oh, now I'm very interested. Team, we've got so much more. What am I missing? Okay, bear toys. Let's go. Come on. I should have done this ages ago.
I had a teddy bear when I was very young. His name was Mr. Fuzzy.
Yes.
He was this soft brown bear with a little red bow tie. And I took him everywhere. Oh. Like he was my child. I would tuck him into bed.
Fair play,
and I'd make sure he was comfortable.
Fair play.
And I'd even talk to him about my day. He went everywhere with me. Oh. Car rides, family trips, you name it.
Freaks the stars on all of your messages really just like, they really do it for me. I'm just putting that out there for you. Oh God, come on, Cthulhu toys. Let's go.
My mom had this really nice camera and a whole set of lenses for it.
Oh, of course.
That was back when,
careful,
cameras used film.
As I thought, the Mad Piper is coming for you.
She even had all the equipment to develop the film at home.
Sorry, Genevieve, I know you. Sorry.
Yeah, before she had a family, she used to be a photographer. She always said she had, no regrets about giving up photography when she had us. But as the older kid, I always felt, like it was my fault that she had to quit. She still had all her gear and, would use it every chance she got. She even taught me how to develop film. And we used to cover up the windows in our bathroom and use that as a dark room.
See you soon, Nerdy. Thank you so much for being here. Nerdy, can I just point out really quickly that she just said that her mother used to be a photographer? Can I just put that out there for you? You'll understand what I'm talking about. Anyway, have a great one. See you soon. Okay. I saw Mommy kissing Santa Claus. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's why I gotta go. Peace. Understood. See you soon. Oh, maybe. Well, we've already done Daddy and Santa Claus. Pets. Where am I going with this? New Orleans and pets, I guess. You have Spock.
New Orleans is a very pet-friendly city, which is great for me, someone who loves animals.
And has a dog named
And they have a ton of events and places where you can bring your pets.
Oh, lovely.
One of the coolest things is the pet parades. They're just like, a regular parade, but for pets. You see everything from dogs in costumes to cats in little wagons.
Sierra Gwen, how dare you say she has no joy? Cats in wagons.
My Chihuahua Spock, he loves it here.
Hell yeah.
There are plenty of parks and pet-friendly spots where we can hang out. It's one of the many things that make New Orleans so great.
Okay, guys, I'm absolutely missing something really, really key here. And I don't know what. I think we actually will end up watching all 276 of these. I don't have time for this. Okay, we gotta just get through the early ones, I think.
When I think of TV shows and movies and bears,
Winnie the Pooh.
two very
Paddington.
different characters come to mind.
Winnie the Pooh.
Yogi Bear
Yogi Bear, good one.
and Cocaine Bear.
Sorry? Oh, Cocaine Bear, yeah, the movie,
Yogi
yeah,
as
sure.
a kid. And I like how they had him and Boo Boo trying to
sorry
steal
for
picnic
asking.
baskets instead of trying to eat people.
Hey, Boo Boo.
That's a nice way to make bears more family friendly.
I mean, except...
And then there's Cocaine Bear.
Mm,
now,
the
that's
opposite.
a completely different take on bears. I saw that a few years ago.
Completely
I'd say that
different
was
take on
crazy
bears.
enough to give me nightmares, but weirdly, even though I never see the bear
Wow,
in my
this take on
dream,
bears
I
is
get
very
this
unique.
strong feeling like it's closer to Yogi or Boo Boo than it is to Cocaine Bear.
You think the bear is...
I really don't understand why I get so afraid when I see it.
You think the bear
Seriously, when I
is nicer?
spot the bear in my dream, I feel the most intense
Clearly.
terror I've ever felt in my life. It's really bad.
Okay. Interesting. Very interesting, I'd say. All right, I just have to make sure I've done the top row, and I have. Which means I've missed something here. Oh, that's going to be important. I'm going to keep clicking, but I'm just trying to reorient myself here. The bear is the attacker, probably, but she felt like maybe it was coming, you know, from inside the house or whatever, and she couldn't protect her brother. That's the fear of it. But why? School feels like... I think school is a bit of a red herring here. No, yes. We've basically done fear and everything. Let's just make sure we've done all the family members. We have. But let's do fear of travel, sure. Final destination. Hit me up.
I've never really been afraid to travel. There
That's
was
fair,
this
Eloquent.
big fear of flying.
Ooh, good
I
one.
had
That's pretty
before I'd actually got on a plane.
Right.
I'd built it up in my head that it would be this terrifying experience.
It's
but
not
once I was
not-
on my first airplane, I was
It's not-
completely fine.
Not terrifying.
If I could, I would travel all the time.
Right.
There's
But you
just
can't because of
something exciting about it. The only scary thing about traveling is paying for it. That's the real fear. Watching your bank account drain as you book the flights, the hotel rooms, and everything else. If it weren't for the costs, I'd be on the road or in the air constantly.
Oh, yeah. I would love to be independently wealthy as well. What do you remember about your mother
When
in
I
childhood?
think about my mother in childhood,
Yeah.
one memory that always sticks with me
Sounds good,
is
Eric
the time I accidentally slammed the car door on her hand.
Ooh,
I mean, I was very young at the time,
brutal.
and she had to go to the hospital,
Yeah.
and her pinky was messed up permanently.
That happened to me when I was younger,
And
too.
it still haunts me to this day, but
I
I
think
can't
did it to
imagine
myself,
that has
though.
anything to do with my dreams. I mean, I don't see how slamming a car door on my mom's finger could be connected to Santa Claus getting scared of a bear.
Why would you say that?
Now, if I were dreaming about Santa getting his finger bitten off by a bear, then I could see some sort of
But
connection.
it's all the same. It's all guilt, right?
That's not what the dream is about.
Genevieve,
so.
it's all guilt, is it not? Okay, fine. Fine. Ugh. Damn it. All right. I want to unlock this, and I feel like we've unlocked it from something in the top row. Let's just do it. I'm just trying things here.
When I think of TV and movies and toys, the first thing that comes to mind
Fucking
is
Voltron.
how intertwined they were
Yeah.
during my childhood.
Okay, fine.
Shows and movies were often made to just sell the corresponding toys.
Sharks Boy and Lava Girl. This is the beta of a game that's not yet out. So I can tell you that it's currently called Dreams, but that's all I can tell you. And also welcome. I hope you enjoy.
Transformers, G.I. Joe, and
Also, hi. You're still
My
here.
Little
That's fabulous.
Pony were
Thought I scared you
cartoons that were basically just long commercials.
Hey,
for the toys.
Jason Price
That
2,
didn't
the
stop
second,
me
coming
from
in hot.
wanting the toys,
Halo
though.
5. It's
I
really
remember having a lot of
the
Transformer
most different.
toys as a kid. I even had all 6 Constructicons and was able to assemble them into Devastator. I never did get all 5
big Transformers
Voltron
fan.
Lions. I don't even remember how many I had. There was also the Star Wars toys.
Big hearts, Sharks Boy. No worries.
Those things were everywhere. And I can't forget about Star Trek either. And my dad had his Star Trek toys.
Yes.
He called them collector items.
I mean, they were.
But
if they're props
really
from the show, then they were
toys that he was afraid to touch.
Okay.
Just because they cost so much.
Yes.
I remember he had a prop tricorder from the original series, well as a prop phaser.
Yeah.
He bid on George Takei's foil at an auction once at Star Trek convention that he took me to, but he didn't win.
Oh, that's too bad. What's happening? Can someone tell me what's going on? Did you want to travel in your childhood?
When I think about
Halo 5
travel during my childhood, it's mostly about trips with my dad or my mom.
And getting stranded
places.
This is good.
Rarely together. My dad took me to conventions all the time.
We're going to figure this out, Genevieve.
And my mom, on the other hand, loved taking me to zoos.
To the zoo, yes. Animals.
She was really into animals.
Yeah.
I wasn't really into zoos at all, but it was fun getting out of the house with her and driving somewhere. Even if, the place we went smelled, like a zoo.
That's how zoos work, yeah.
We didn't travel much as a whole family.
Weird thing to say, that's all right.
My mom wasn't into conventions, and my dad wasn't into zoos. So it didn't happen often.
Did they share other?
There was one time we went to Six Flags. Great adventure, but I was very young and don't remember much of it. Just vague memories of, all the rides and a lot of excitement.
I just remember being really excited. Oh, they were both into Santa. In or into? Sorry, freaks. I remind you of your... What, just shouting through your... Freaks, what? Just shouting throughout while you're trying to talk? Just commenting constantly? It's the worst therapist I've ever heard. Two-way street. Therapy is a two-way street. I get as much out of it as you do. Okay. What am I missing? Bears and Scranton, like we've already... Yes. Oh, mythical pets. Team, there's something big we have yet to unlock here. I feel like this is very important. Toys and house? Do you have any toys now, maybe?
You mean like a Barbie dream house?
Sure.
No, never had one. But back in college, studying criminology, we played with model houses.
Criminology? And
it was part of our training exercises.
Of course you studied criminology.
Had to use one now that I'm a coroner. I was working on this Ravenwood case.
What?
Right? Historian guy dead in his house, walls covered in what looked like protection spells, straight out of a local folklore.
Sorry, what?
He died from blunt force trauma, and his Ring camera caught just one visitor that whole day. Classic case of murder or manslaughter. But here's the kicker. The defendant claims that he and the victim were attacked by the Rougarou. That's this mythical creature from local Louisiana folklore. He even described it to the sketch artist after he was arrested.
Yep.
And he stuck to that story in court, so they called me in to testify. So I'm there lugging this miniature house into court, having to stand there and show a bunch of supposedly sane adults that were dealing with a mundane human, not some monster mash.
Oh! Whoop, sorry, that was... Oh, hot cut. Woo! All right. Okay. Wait. She went into criminology and became a coroner because she wants to help solve crimes, like the crime. Fuck my life. Graspy Loot, if we don't unlock it by the end of this, I will ask Jason Price II to maybe the psychic, Jason Price II the psychic, to fill us in on what this is. If we don't. Okay, team, this is key. This is going to be key.
My brother, Tommy, was murdered.
Yep.
During a break-in when he was very young.
Yes, and no crime happened.
My dad was working an overnight job,
right?
So it was just me and Tommy at home.
I knew you were there.
It happened late, and I was asleep when it all went down.
So horrible.
I didn't even know anything had happened until my dad had came home and woke me up.
No shenanigans.
The medical examiner said that Tommy was shot once, and he died instantly.
Brutal. Sorry.
There was obvious signs of a robbery, but the burglar didn't take much. And the worst part is that I was supposed to be looking after Tommy, but I didn't even wake up from the gunshot. It's a lot to carry, even now.
I agree. Oi! We've unlocked crime! Hang on a second. Hang on a second. I feel like crime is one of those things that we've heard a lot about already. I'm gonna write that down.
When I graduated college, I didn't know much about New Orleans. I was, just looking for a place to start my career, and it turned out to have the best job offer. So, I packed up and made the move, not really knowing what to expect. And now I absolutely love it there. I couldn't imagine moving anywhere else.
It's really sweet, to be completely honest. Freaks, you make a good point. That feels really dark. I agree, we need to find out. Was your father a postman? Was he also a coroner? Does he appreciate your line of work?
My dad had mixed feelings about me becoming a coroner.
Because he's a criminal.
I mean, he was proud that I pursued a career in medicine and
right.
respected that I chose a tough job.
Yeah, sure.
That not many people could handle.
Right.
And at the same time, he was worried about the emotional toll it might take on me.
That reveal of coroners, insane.
Dealing with death every day could be tough, and sometimes asked if I was sure about my choice, reminding me that it was okay for me to switch paths if it got too overwhelming. I mean, even with his concerns.
Freaks, it might just be the close-up on the face.
He still completely supported me.
That's nice. All right, everyone, it's crime time. We're talking fear of crimes. We're talking brother and crimes. We're talking homes and crimes. Let's go. Come on.
Yeah, I have a fear of crime, but it's just, the normal, rational one. God. I mean, who doesn't? I take sensible precautions like anyone else. Yep. I lock my doors.
Have a dog.
I'm, aware of my surroundings, avoiding sketchy areas at night. Yeah, it's not like I obsess over it. It's just, I'd definitely say I stay mindful and take steps to keep myself safe. So,
super fair. Understood. Father in crime. Let's go. Come on. Crime. We're getting somewhere now.
My dad's a hardworking guy who ran his own air conditioning business.
Air conditioners.
He didn't have much to do with crime.
Anyone have air conditioner on the bingo
board?
Aside
from making sure our family stayed on the right side
air
of
conditioner
the law.
Salesman?
He was always busy working long hours to provide for us, which meant, he didn't have much time to do anything else.
Should have said.
I mean, he wasn't exactly the godfather.
Well, now that you said that, now that you've said that, I feel really strange. Those famous. God,
there's
it's so
been a long
hot.
shadow over my life, and it all started with what happened to Tommy.
Yeah.
My brother was murdered during a break-in when he was just a kid, and my dad was working an overnight shift, leaving me and Tommy at home. I was fast asleep, completely oblivious to the horror unfolding.
Oh, if a data
It wasn't until my dad came home and woke me up that I knew something terrible had happened.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
He found Tommy's body in our parents' bedroom, and he'd been shot.
Brutal.
And that was it.
Freaks,
there was a clear sign of a robbery, but
blow your mind here for a moment.
The intruder didn't take much, just some random stuff, nothing that made sense. And the hardest part for me was knowing I was supposed to be looking after Tommy.
Yeah.
And I didn't wake up or hear a thing, and that guilt has always been with me ever since. And I'll never know what exactly happened that night.
Why would the father invade his own home? It doesn't make sense, team. Interns, get it together. Freaks, I'm going to blow your mind. Lack of facial movement. Hollywood actors, specifically film and television actors, one of the ways that we have subconsciously developed to believe someone is a good actor, really watch any film and television and you'll see exactly what I mean instantly. No movement from the eyebrows up. Too much eyebrow movement and too much brow movement look false, and they look put on. They look farcical. They look comedic. Whoa, my eyes are so big. Literally. Well, Graspy same. Hence why so many actors get Botox here. It's to attempt to calm this area of the face. Fantastic. Anyway, okay. House crime. Oh, shoot, I should have done New Orleans crime.
There's never been any kind of incident at my current place. My apartment building.
I was like, not your previous.
It's very safe and it's in a good area. But my last apartment, though, it was in a rougher neighborhood. My place itself was never broken into, but my car wasn't so fortunate.
Just temporary.
One morning I went out.
They waxed his whole head.
It's my car, and I found the windows smashed and the door open and a raccoon sitting in the front seat.
Sorry.
For a split second, I thought, I was completely baffled and thought that a raccoon had broken into my car. Of course, reality kicked in, and I realized, a human had broken in and must have left the door open.
What?
And then the raccoon saw the opportunity. And
wouldn't it be better if the raccoon had done the breaking in?
And my new place is,
Genevieve?
Secured. It has secure parking, so now I don't have to worry about walking out and finding a raccoon trying to take my car for a joyride.
Very good. Okay, so I'm thinking. Okay. So I should have done coroner.
All right, let's talk about crime in New Orleans.
Good. Yes.
Yeah, it's got a bit more crime than your average city, but overall, it's still a pretty safe place to live. The real kicker is Mardi Gras. Those 6 to 8 weeks are insane.
6 to 8 weeks?
It's like retail during Christmas. Everyone's working overtime, but it's still not enough.
For Fat Tuesday.
The city just goes nuts, and you're just trying to keep up with all the craziness.
Yes, Luke. Tame.
And then there's, the superstitions. You can't go a month without someone blaming a crime on voodoo or the Rougarou or, some other
interns.
supernatural nonsense.
On her brother's murder being supernatural
come
in some
on,
way.
People.
It's bad, right? We're not
just
thinking that's where we're going.
Sort through all of that, folklore to get to the real story.
Right.
But hey, that's what makes New Orleans, New Orleans.
Right. You became a coroner. Bigfoot with a gun. You became a coroner in New Orleans? Interesting.
Being a coroner in New Orleans is a whole different ballgame.
I bet.
The city is drenched in local folklore and superstition, which seeps into just about everything, including my work. You've got all these stories about voodoo, ghosts, and mysterious deaths that get people talking and speculating. Sometimes I come across cases where locals believe that there's something supernatural going on.
Right.
You get folks who are convinced that a death has some connection to voodoo rituals or
this
ancient
is a red
curses.
herring, though, isn't it?
It can be a challenge to separate the myths from the facts.
'Cause I'm thinking
it adds a layer of complexity to the job.
Her work.
But it also makes it, fascinating.
I imagine it has to do with the guilt of her.
I'm not just, dealing with the science of death. I'm navigating a whole cultural landscape that believes in the mystical
Unreal.
and the unexplained. It keeps things interesting, that's for sure.
Very true, Graspy. Very true. As Agamara Mother's Embrace famously said. Okay, we've still got more to unlock. God damn. Oh, you went to school to become a coroner. I guess.
Becoming a coroner involved a lot of schooling, let me tell you. I had to go through medical school, which is already no small feat.
Congratulations. I didn't realize we were on the same level here, Genevieve.
And on top of that, I studied criminology.
Sure.
It's, not enough to understand the human body. You've got to get into the mind of criminals.
Oh, okay.
Understand the crime scenes, learn how to piece together the story from the evidence. So I took courses in forensic science,
coroner work
criminal
too?
behavior, and
even
a little bit of law. I mean, it was a long road. But if all that work helps me catch the bad guys, it was worth it.
Is she trying to solve her brother's murder now? That's my question. Chicken works with... Oh my god, extended universe confirmed, Graspy Loot. I guess... I don't want to get too trapped in something, but I feel like that's what's going on, right?
Becoming a coroner is pretty different from what I imagined as a kid.
Of course.
First of all, I'm not even technically a coroner. I'm a medical examiner for the coroner's office.
A medical examiner, sure.
That's the job most people think a coroner does. I'm the one who performs autopsies and investigates suspicious deaths and all that.
Right.
The actual coroner is an elected politician who runs the office like a manager would.
Yes.
And he wouldn't even know how to do an autopsy. So many people get the terms confused, and they call me a coroner, and
I think you
gave up on correcting them.
You called yourself a coroner.
Now I just run with it. I also didn't fully grasp how emotionally challenging it would be.
I'm just going to say America. I presume is the answer to that. I don't know.
The pressure. Yeah, I didn't think about that part either.
Interesting. Okay. I'm thinking her dream started about 9 months ago because of her dog, because of her home. Great question, Graspy. Already done, Craggers. Already done. I think I went brother... Yeah, I went brother quite quickly. What if I just try one of these locked ones? Nope. Okay, that's fine. Damn it. Something about her... I think this mythical creatures thing is a bit of a ruse. And say, like, Santa Claus and coroner doesn't feel like a good idea. I guess, does your fear ever come up in your work?
My biggest fear as a coroner isn't
good point,
related to death at all.
No. Wait, what is it related to?
About not doing my job well.
Ooh. Because you
make
feel guilty
mistake,
about your brother.
You know, a murderer could go free. That's a scary thought.
Yeah.
But even worse is the idea that a mistake on my part could lead to an innocent person going to prison. That responsibility is huge. And getting it right is crucial. It's a lot of pressure. But, I mean, it's part of the job. I often obsess over my work because the stakes are just, so high.
Okay, interesting. You obsess over your work. Obsess over your work. I'm just trying.
I don't know anyone who has a pet bear. Seriously, I mean, who looks at a giant clawed beast and thinks, yeah, I want that in my living room?
It really is.
I did have a teddy bear once. That was a big deal when I was like 5. His name was Mr. Fuzzy.
Yes, your teddy.
And he went everywhere with me. But let's be real, I'm not 5 anymore. And
how
Mr. Fuzzy's days of being my companion are long gone. It's funny how so many important things to you as a kid can just fade into the background as you grow up.
No, I get it.
Kind of like those childhood fears about monsters under the bed. Now, the only monsters I worry about are the ones sending me emails on my day off.
I would take a raccoon. Okay. Right? Like, we've solved this, right? Okay, but what is the dream? The dream is the bear, the Santa Claus. Oh, God. No, sorry. Wrong button. Wrong button. All right, let's do it. Mythical Santa?
All right, let's talk about Santa Claus. Of all mythical creatures I could dream about, I just don't get why I'd be afraid of Santa Claus. I mean, seriously, Santa is one of the only nice mythical creatures out there.
Sorry, everyone.
You know, the guy brings presents, eats cookies, spreads joy.
Yeah.
What's there to be scared of?
Now,
if I were walking around my house and saw a Cthulhu or a Hydra, I'd totally be scared.
Yeah, of course.
Those are the kind of creatures that give you nightmares. But Santa Claus just doesn't make any sense to me. I can't wrap my head around why my brain would pick him to be the scary one in my dreams.
Because he's not the scary one. It's because of your father, is it not?
My father once bought the family a robo-dog.
Robo-dog!
We had to get rid of our actual real
Robo-dog
dog
confirmed.
because my younger
What's
brother,
a robo-dog?
Tommy,
How big are we talking?
turned
Like a
out
little
to
toy?
be allergic. It was a really sad day when we had to let him go, but
You're not wrong, Captain Splurry.
my dad thought a robot dog would be a great substitute.
Why would he kill his
Spoiler
son?
alert, it wasn't.
Why would he break into his own home?
Hilariously bad. I mean, it was a long time ago, but these robots and computers weren't nearly as advanced as they are today. The robot dog would bark at random times, and its little mechanical legs would barely move. And it had this weird habit of spinning in these circles. It was like the toy that couldn't decide if it was broken or possessed.
I don't know. I mean,
we spent more time laughing at it than actually playing with it.
Well,
it was like watching a low-budget sci-fi movie entertaining us, but for reasons that weren't intended. I bet a robot dog today would be a lot more fun.
I agree.
Technology has come a long way since then. But
no, freaks, I'm not saying that.
Robot dog, it was a comedic masterpiece in its own.
I'm not saying that, everyone, okay? All right, fine. All right. You all wanted it. Santa Claus and crime. He's a criminal. He breaks into homes. Tell me more.
Santa is a criminal, if you think about it.
Yeah, I do think about it.
He breaks into over 1 million houses every year. You can't just break into someone's house and leave them presents.
Way more than 1 million.
Come to think about it, he seems like a criminal in my dream. He has a sack, and he's quietly gathering our presents from the dresser drawers.
I hate when you're right, Splooey.
It almost seems like he was robbing us. Actually, I think he was robbing us, now that I think about it. I'm remembering a little more from my dream. I'm standing in the hallway.
Luke. Thank
looking
you.
into my parents' bedroom as he's filling up his bag. And I'm being quiet, hoping that he won't hear me. And I feel this big chill coming from the window that he left open. He wasn't Santa Claus.
Yeah.
It was just some random guy.
Yeah.
I was peeking around the corner watching him in the reflection of my mom's vanity mirror.
Yeah.
So he couldn't see me.
Oh, shit.
He was loading all the stuff into his bag.
And then the bear is your brother. Oh, fuck
we heard
me.
some rustling.
Splooey, what the hell? How did you do this?
The closet.
Son of a gun.
He froze and he turned and he looked at the closet. And whatever it was, it just burst out of the closet and it startled him.
Your brother.
Oh my god, that was Tommy. That was Tommy that came out of the closet. This isn't a dream, this is a memory.
Splooey, I'm giving up my therapist license. You're in.
He's the one that came bursting out of the closet with Chekhov's phaser, and he tried to stun the burglar.
Chekhov's phaser? Oh, he thought it was a real gun. Oh, no.
And he just saw some kid that came out aiming this gun at him.
Oh, my God.
So he shot him in panic, and then fled out the window.
What did you think the bear was, then? What the hell?
I remember seeing Tommy with his chest.
Oh, my God.
He had a hole in his chest.
No wonder you repressed this memory. Good Lord.
I must have wandered back to bed and blacked out. I blocked this all out. I just remember my dad waking me up.
Why did this?
I don't remember any of it.
Okay, red herring, it's fine.
Now I see why I blocked it out. Don't you see? It's my fault. Tommy's dead.
No.
It's because I was too lazy to tell him to just stay out of Dad's stupid Star Trek stuff.
Don't do this, Genevieve. It's not like that.
That's what got him killed.
Damn it, Genevieve.
He tried to stun the intruder with the gun because he thought it was a real working phaser.
Yeah, labeling. Oh, yes, Catherine, please.
Jennifer, you need to understand that you aren't responsible for your brother's death.
Not directly, but if I wouldn't have lied to him, he'd still be alive. Why do you think that my dream started 8 months ago and not years ago?
Control fallacy.
I see that you got your dog, Spock, about 8 months ago.
Oh.
Is this the first time you've cared for someone since you used to take care of your little brother?
Allow me to make a big tick in the notebook.
This explains a few things you've mentioned.
So are my nightmares going to stop now?
Now that your memory is out in the open, you can address it in a healthy way.
So it
should no longer interfere with your sleep.
Yay! Jennifer. Sorry, her name is Jennifer. My apologies. If you'd like to start fresh, you can restart. Woo! Alrighty! Hell yeah! There it is! Interns. Alright, interns. I think a bit... Shh, graspy loot. Shh. It does. Also, woo! Yes. Okay. Interns, I think some big ups are required. Let's get some big ups in chat, please. For Captain Splooey, for Aragwen, for Graspy Loot, for all the interns who are here screaming about Santa Claus being a criminal. Absolutely wild. Salutes in chat. That was actually very enjoyable. Now I have to run because I actually have a lot of I have to leave now. I have to leave and fly back to England. Haha. Team, thank you so much for joining me. That was an absolute blast and a half. Thanks, Captain Splooey, much appreciated. And yes, of course, Jason Price to the second. Thank you so much for being so psychic. No, thank you. Yeah, I would like to thank Jason Price to the second for this beta. I would like to thank everyone, all the interns, for being here. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm not... Oh, God. Everyone thinks I'm actually flying back to England. Because they can't. They used to call it the shed. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Team, that was so much fun. Thank you. If you have thoughts and feelings that you want to share after the fact, Biff the Boss channel on the RPG Clinic Discord is the place to do it. You can DM me as well, just in case there are thoughts you have. I have my own as well. Thank you all so much for joining me. We have, of course... Hell yes, Bluey. We've got streams throughout the week. You should stay tuned to the Discord for those. But I believe Friday should be punchy, Saturday should be Doomed, and then Drew Crew, and then Sunday, there is no Montreal by Moonlight this coming Sunday because it's goddamn Christmas time. And what would Christmas be without a criminal Santa Claus? See you all next time. I didn't mean to do that. See you all next time on the Doctor Surgeon M.D. Special Lectures. Fuck. I'm a professional!